Welcome to Spurs Vision TV. Good evening to all of you guys in Asia. Good afternoon to all you guys in Europe, right? And of course, good morning to all of you guys in Americas, especially Canada, right? A big shout out to Canada for Brian Daigle because he keeps saying I forget about it, but big up to Brian, right?
He's not back there yet. He's extended his stay in the UK.
Yeah, but he still loves Canada so much, so I have to put a big up there to Canada. And of course, first of all, I have to say this before I bring on the guests. All right. Okay, Jamie. No, today is actually my mom's birthday, so I have to wish her happy birthday.
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah. And actually, I'm doing this show now at this time because we had her birthday dinner last night, right, on Saturday. So today's the actual birthday, so big up to her. And of course, tomorrow is one of my auntie's birthday. Big up to her too, Auntie Lily. Right. Take care. Have good health, all of you guys. Right. And while that's happening, have you anything to say, Jamie, for the beginning of the show?
I'm just hoping for a good result and an interesting debate.
Yeah. All right. While that happens, let me bring in the guys because today, more or less, we have a lot of friends with us. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, and nobody's from America yet, so no good morning yet. But maybe someone to hop on from the America side, right? Especially from Canada, what Brian Daigle says. And let me see, somebody has got a bit of a background noise. There's a wind kind of thing going on.
That's probably me.
Okay, that's probably Jamie. His fan is on. All right, guys, welcome again. Right, nice to meet you guys again. Jamie's gone off, but the sound is still there. Can you guys hear it?
Fan behind no,
let me. But never mind. Let me bring in Jamie again. Hi, Jamie. I don't think it's you, Jamie.
Okay, I disconnected my Bluetooth speaker because I thought maybe it was feeding back.
Okay, all right. Before we start, just give a big shout out to the guys in the chats. Mark Swift is in the chats with us. Big up, Mark. Right, Adam is sitting here. With us. Hi, Sam. Thanks for the support. Sam is now a big supporter. All right, Craig Bowler. Hi, Craig. How you doing, Craig? All right. Okay, thanks for the happy birthday to my mom. Right. Right. And at least she's cool, right? I'm doing this, not having dinner with her.
Proper job.
You did?
No, just as long as the phone doesn't ring, right? And I don't think she's watching it live, so it's okay. All right, guys. Coming back in. Let's go to this item first. What do you think about yesterday's matches? Any comments on yesterday's matches?
Leicester Man U.
That was one match I watched till the end. I don't really know whether any of you guys did. It was like constant attack from both sides of the team, and then towards the last 10 minutes, everything just changed. Everything just turned into Leicester's favor. So yeah, it was pretty cool to watch that.
Yeah. How long is it going to last?
Privy, I think you have some feedback.
I think it might be feeding back from someone else's stream. I think someone else has got like an echo going.
Yeah. Okay, testing the sound again. What we do, we're always live. We have a lot of technical problems when we do this, right? We're not scripted, so
if any of you are using speakers for the sound and then the computer mic for the mic, then you might be getting feedback.
Yeah.
I've muted mine already, so I don't think it's me that's causing the problem. I could be wrong though.
No, nothing is coming from your side. It's okay.
It sounds like radio.
No,
I don't have the radio.
It sounds like some kind of a feedback whenever someone speaks. If I speak, if there's feedback, let me know. John Fitzpatrick, big up, John, big up. Okay, matches yesterday. Of course, the outstanding one. The results was, I guess, the Manchester United match. Right now, the whole of the Manchester United fans are going crazy. Right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, they've got a better team and a worse result.
Yeah.
But guys, to tell you the truth, I mean, the way that MU played yesterday, they looked lost. That's all. I don't know whether they're lost tactically or just lost.
This is the Ole effect basically wearing off.
Yeah.
They actually made the worst decision of playing Pogba and Matic at back in midfield. I think that was the mistake because I know a lot of them hate Fred, but I think Fred is the more dynamic, the faster of the four midfielders that they've got out there, and the combination of Pogba and Matic didn't work out, and things just went downhill.
I don't know what's wrong, MU. When they play with McTominay and Fred, it doesn't work. When they play with whoever doesn't work. So I guess they do have a deep problem underlying problem, and that underlying problem just could be Ole. So
Well, he's just tactically inept, I think, at this stage.
Yeah. So that's for Manchester United to solve their own problems, and of course, being Spurs, we got our own problems too. So. We have to move on. Yeah, and but to tell you the truth, whatever happened yesterday, I mean, the scores were a bit weird, right? I mean, of course, Liverpool hammering Watford, we expected that, right? And to tell you the truth, now Salah is considered one of the most underrated players in the world because, based on current form, right? I think he's the best player in the world at the moment, based on current form for Salah, for what he's doing, but still under the radar. So. That's Liverpool's problem. Right. And Villa, what happened to Villa? They were 2-0 up and they let Wolves come back.
West Midlands derby. It's just like a North London derby.
Yeah. I think you rattled them, lads.
Form goes out the window.
All right.
They got the 3 goals in the last 10 minutes, which sort of makes me feel a little bit better about conceding 3 goals to West Ham in the last 10 minutes. So.
Yeah.
Oh, good. There's a bit of consolation there. Yeah, that's a bit of consolation that we have.
At least we got a point against West Ham. We can see we got a point. So.
Yeah. And then, of course, the high flyers, Brighton, couldn't beat Norwich. Right? That's another question there. So, the XGs are not working.
Did anyone see the Brentford-Chelsea game?
Yeah, definitely. Oh my god. Chelsea I am surprised, Brentford, this is literally going to be a tradition from now on, like Leeds last season. Brentford were playing with a passion, and I am surprised. I'm astonished that Brentford did not equalize because their second half was so immaculate. I thought for sure that Chelsea's gonna break, but
the Chelsea goalkeeper. I mean, the Chelsea defense is a good defense anyway. The Chelsea goalkeeper was outstanding, and Brentford on any other day would have scored and would have got the point or even won it. And I fear for when Tottenham go to Brentford this season.
I'm fearing that too. Yeah. Not only we going to Brentford. I'm afraid when they come to us.
Well, yeah. The only thing I will say about Brentford is they might suffer the Blackpool effect. Blackpool had a really, really good first season, and then everyone sort of got to know them, and then they fell off the last. And I do believe we play Brentford away in April. So it's quite near the end of the season.
But remember, Villa Wolves was not the only derby. Brentford Chelsea is also a derby.
Oh, Brentford is considered London, right?
Did you know, guys? If you watch Brentford football game, if the camera pans up and looks above the stand, you can see my desk.
Okay, Sanska, is your window open?
No, I don't think it's mine.
Is your AC on?
Okay, no, it's okay. The sound is gone already.
Okay. That was Sanskar just muted himself. I think that's where the background might be coming from, buddy.
Okay, all right, that's good.
Sanskar,
when you want to, Sanskar, when you want to speak, you unmute yourself. If not, maybe just keep it muted for a while. All right, Sanskar. All right, and sorry, back to you, Brad. You were saying?
Yeah, what I was going to say was from my desk, you can actually see the screen, the video screen for the game. So technically speaking, I'll be able to watch night games there. Although I believe we're now moving down a floor when we eventually go back to the office, which will be next year anyway. So, but no, going back to the football. I thought Brentford were very unlucky, and well, that's what happened to Chelsea. That's what teams that win things do. They win the games that they shouldn't win. So
Yeah, that's what champions do, right?
Yeah.
Right, that's what champions do, right?
Yeah.
Mark Swift, Ole in for me. Sam says United defense becoming worse than Dortmund. At least those guys will. No, I think the United defense yesterday was shattered because Varane is injured, and of course Maguire. I don't think he's 100%. That's why. But I think Ole had no choice here to pick him.
What, fitness wise or brain as a footballer wise?
Both.
Relative.
I'll agree with the second point.
No, both.
Even Shaw was rather underwhelming today. Like their fullbacks weren't able to do it much either. Like I think I saw their ratings, after match ratings. Like every single one of them was like below 5 or something. They had a really terrible performance last night.
On an honest note, I think United is currently dependent on the so-called magic displays by one player who could be anyone. It could be Bruno, it could be Ronaldo, it could be anyone. But they're expecting that one person to pop up at the opportune moment and somehow take this thing. But it doesn't always happen. That's not how football works.
I might be completely wrong about this because I don't watch a huge amount of Man United because it makes me sick. But when I do see them, they come across as what we've had problems with in the past, as in they're a group of individuals rather than a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No understanding.
Yeah, and so it's each player out for themselves almost. When Shaw started to sort of do really well, it was because of him rather than for the team. Ronaldo coming in is like the big player rather than an addition to the team. Pogba is the epitome of the player that plays for himself and no one else.
True.
So I think that might be the thing. Again, I don't watch a huge amount of Man U, but that's the impression I get anyway.
I don't understand why they just so bad. Sorry, Eugene. I just don't understand why they just disrespect Van de Beek so much as well. Like, I mean, has he even played like one game?
Yeah.
I think he's made a
problem.
couple of sub.
I mean, if it continues this way, he might as well go to Newcastle.
Oh, guys, we will come to that. The Newcastle.
I'd rip your arm off if you offered me Van de Beek.
Yeah,
I really would. I would kill to have him in the Spurs side.
Yeah,
But Levy won't pay for him, so
no, Levy would have paid for him. No. This was Van de Beek. This is Van de Beek wanted to go to Man U. It wasn't. No. I mean, let's say January window comes along, right? And let's say Van de Beek wants to leave, right? And let's say Spurs is one of the teams in his mind. But I don't think Levy will pay for him. Right?
Well, actually, Eugene, you brought up an interesting topic because I remember, like, I saw a tweet the other day that Jose Mourinho wanted Van de Beek, and Levy said that if we can sell Ndombele, then I'll try to get Van de Beek. So if Ndombele gets the move he wanted during the end of the summer, then that opens up a space for a potential CM and a foreign spot. So we don't know because United clearly aren't playing them, so they might as well just cash in on him.
The thing I would say about Van de Beek is that he represents a good financial decision if the club buy him, because he's very young and he's below his ceiling at the moment. So his value could go up. And from what I understand, that's the sort of decision that they make. It's why Traore, because Traore is never going to be more than a £50 million player. So his value is never going to go beyond that much. So that's why.
No, but Rez,
his value could increase.
But Rez, if Traore can score goals, right? I'm sure he's an £80 million player.
He's 25. He's 25 and he still hasn't learned how to score goals. I mean, I've heard of late bloomers, but this is ridiculously late.
But remember, Brian Diggle was saying, right? Conspiracy theory wise, Levy will get Van de Beek in as a loan first. Then somehow or another, the deal will turn into Kane going to MU, and we get Van de Beek plus some cash.
Maybe.
Bear
in mind.
Sounds about right.
Tottenham Tantrum is. Let me see. I can't remember his name. Tottenham Tantrum is who is he already?
He's
Dermot, yes.
Great member of the Harris Army as well, so big up to him,
that's
legend.
Yeah, big up Dermot.
Yeah.
Big up Dermot.
Hey, Dermot.
Thanks for your support.
Bear in mind, swap deals are very rare nowadays, mainly because of the whole finance thing I told you about. Like, look at us. We sold Southampton, Kyle Walker-Peters, and brought Højbjerg. But we did those as two separate transfers. Rather than cash plus player. Because as I've explained before, the complexity of player transfers now makes swap deals less and less likely because there are so many factors that will affect that valuation and the finances of it. The clubs, it's just too much bother. Just do it as two separate transfers.
But
so
Rez,
the idea that we're going to take Van de Beek on loan, and then later on we're going to sell Kane to Man U, and then get Van de Beek as part of the deal. I'm not saying we wouldn't sell Kane to Man U, but I'm not saying it wouldn't be in that way that it will be done. Is what I say.
Hi, Colin. Guys, you all met Colin?
Yes, we have.
Okay,
But
Eugene, your fingers off track.
The question here is, though, would Van de Beek fit in with what we want?
You went.
Colin, you know where Colin is? Colin is next to Jamie, right? And,
and he's below after
right. And Rez, but don't forget, we did do a swap deal for Hill and Lamela with cash.
Yeah, I didn't say it doesn't happen. I said it's very rare for it to happen.
That's why I was surprised that we did one. We did one.
Yeah. It's not just us. It's not just us. In general,
I think it's a bit down to Paratici because, like, even from his Juventus days, Paratici has actually preferred this model. And, like, yes, Rez is absolutely bang on that it's very complex, and that's why it's very rare that we see it happening. But we do have a director who's actually likes those sort of deals, and especially because of the squad shape right now, where we actually have to offload players to be able to get them. So deals like this would appeal to him a bit more, even though they are complex and they're going to take time. But obviously, it's like killing two birds with one stone. Hitting two birds with one stone for us right now.
The best example of sort of loan deals in terms of encapsulating the complexity of it was Mkhitaryan for Sanchez, with Arsenal Man U. The surprising thing about that is that people looked at that and said, well, hold on a minute, one of them is worth like this much, the other one's worth this much, and then this one's being paid that much, and that one's being paid that much. But the finances on that, they fit together because of stuff like their wages and the relative transfer values and things like the image rights and all of that stuff. Because it fitted in that scenario for Arsenal and Man U, it was easier to do. I think with Lamela to Sevilla and Hill coming in, I think it's because the things fitted that it was easier to do it that way. But when you're talking about, a player that's, say, 29, in Kane, I think Van de Beek's 22, 23, something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
The relative values. I mean, Kane is worth at least, 3 times as much as Van de Beek, if you're being generous. The wages situation. It doesn't look like, and I might be completely wrong, it doesn't look like the finances fit very well. Plus, on top of everything else, the idea of taking a player on loan and then using it as a make weight later on. People don't understand. When a loan is finished, that's it. They might still be wearing the jersey, but there's
no value.
Yeah. This
there's
idea
no value.
The thing. We could use it as a make weight. It's not impossible, but it's not, it is very much conspiracy theory. This idea that, listen,
conspiracy theory
doesn't need an excuse. He's not going to turn around and say, well, I'm selling Kane to Man U, but you've got Van de Beek. No one's going to be happy with that because no one's going to be happy with Kane leaving whatever happens. But he'll do it if the deal is there to be done. So, no.
The problem we all suffer from is the media. The media blow these things
the media
out.
hypes up.
It's ridiculous.
It's always the media.
If there isn't a story, the media make one up. It's called phishing. Phishing.
Phishing.
I mean, I have to remind everyone of the Sun News.
It should be illegal.
Yeah.
But guys, to tell you the truth, right? That was all pre-Newcastle. Now with Newcastle coming in, so I guess a lot of things are all being thrown out the window again.
My opinion, we have a major problem today because we've got 10 people out, as I told you earlier. Son and Hill are proved to have COVID, and the other guys are all unavailable. So we've only got a small amount of people to pick from. One of those people they'll pick is Kane, who can't be bothered. I can't still pick him there today.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hello, Brian.
What's up, boys? How we doing?
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
Good. Yeah, we have a full
Just to
pedal at
let
the
you know,
moment.
we're live here at the protest once again. So it's going off. It's a lot of people again, completely let down. But I've got myself into quite a load of American media outlets.
Oh, good.
That's good.
So there's been a lot more, and I've actually been given. We actually funded so many different fans from across the football league. I got talking with a Blackpool fan who was deep within the Blackpool protest, and I've now got them on Twitter. So we'll be getting ideas from them because we all know what Blackpool did. So we shall see. We shall see. But I just wanted to quickly come in and say hello to you guys. So you should see. There'll be a few videos on Tottenham on Tour later, where the things that are going on here for NFL as opposed to what we have is shambolic.
All right, that's good. But the numbers, how are the numbers today?
So Brian's at the demo.
Please tell me there's more today.
Today there's about 30 of us.
Okay.
If that. But like I said, the thing we've been doing is walking along with the banner and the placards. I've got into, it will be on Twitter later, people, American publications that have over 500,000 followers. We're getting stopped by, so there'll be a lot on social media from people that are here, non-stop photos being taken. So that's what it's about at the moment, getting social media. There's someone right now, you'll see right behind me, taking it, I don't know if you'll see it, he's taking a picture of it. That's what it is, mate. It's come down to the social media world now. And there's people that don't want to come and then support, whether they can or they can't. But it's when I go back to Canada and we start taking this across the pond.
That's good. Right, that's good.
Are you putting the tweets on the Tottenham Away Twitter handle?
I won't be putting on any Tottenham Away, seeing that I'm Tottenham on tour, Brad. But thanks for that.
Short-term memory, mate.
So I've sent a load of videos to Brian Island because he's the king of the editing. He'll be getting that up, and then later on tonight, I think about 10 o'clock PM UK time, we'll be doing a post-match and big review about what's gone on today and moving forward.
That's good.
A lot of retweeting to be done, I guess, in the next few days.
Yeah, a lot to be retweeted later on. Yeah, you'll find it all in Tottenham on tour.
Yep.
And you like an retweet this.
You're looking more chipper than
Sorry, Jay.
You're looking more chipper than you did last week. Last week you made us feel a bit sad because he was so gutted about what the response was. But it looks like you've got a more positive outlook today.
If you know what it is as well, it's because by the stadium there is all the people and the people from the shops and there's food places behind me. But let's see, can you see where that blue inflatable thing is behind me?
Yeah.
Okay, so from there, pretty much down to Bruce Grove Station, it's just interviews with ex-players, food stands. There's so many different things going on. There's an inflatable goalpost and football walking around. There's those stands. You know those things on Fun Fest where you clean your face on top of that. There's players there. There's so much activity down there, and we've made sure that we spend a lot of our time there because people are walking to the ground rather than just here. So we're getting a lot more attention that way. And like I said, I'm sick to death of relying on people. And I don't mean that to any of the YouTubers or people that said they can't. It's all the people that say they are going to get there and then they don't. It's all about social media, and that's the main aim now. And hopefully today we'll do the trick. I feel a lot more positive about today with social media than I did last week.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, yeah, Brian. Do you know Mario Gabriel?
Yep.
Yeah. He runs the unofficial merch stand and whatnot. Just give him my love and ask him where my Villa programs are.
I shall ask him, mate. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick call. So I promised Eugene I'll come in live at the protest. And like I said, I will never let Eugene and you down, Jamie, as much as I can. So yeah, there used to be a football stadium over here.
Yeah.
It's not anymore. But yeah, I'll let you guys get on with the show and look out for Tottenham.
Great seeing you, Brian.
Always a pleasure, sir. Always a pleasure.
Keep fighting.
Thanks for showing us.
Yeah, Brian.
Right.
No worries, guys. Leave
Good
you
luck,
out.
Brian. Good luck.
Leave you out.
Leave you out. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Hey, now we got Adam.
Oh, Adam.
It was your moment, and then it was gone.
Should have kept it like that.
That's good. That's good.
We need to rename this stream the Adam Show.
Adam Show. Yeah.
Listen to the
Listen to the rest. Yeah. Okay. Just hold on first. Let me just put out a question for Arthur. Right. This is John Fitzpatrick asking Arthur. Arthur, can I ask you who's better? Arthur. All right. Who's better? Harry Kane, Prime Harry Kane, or Prime Greavesy?
Depends on whether
you're the best player and primary striker was Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah.
Look at the goal record.
You just look at the stats. The stats. I mean, Greaves was probably the ultimate.
He scored just with us alone 266 goals. Before that, he was only a short while in. Yeah. He was only a short while in Milan and scored, I think it was 12 goals in 9 games, and then before that it was 132 goals in 169 games. Yeah.
Yeah. And he played in an era. Yeah, he played in an era. Yeah, he played in an era.
The guy was a goal machine.
That demonstrates how good a player he actually was, right? Because of that goal record. So I don't know how true it is, but this is the story that was told about him, right? So what Bill Nicholson was very keen on was for his players to work really, really hard. So apparently what he would do after a game is that he would go around the dressing room and he would rub his hands on each of the players' shirts one by one to see how much they'd sweated and see how hard they was. And apparently he always left Jimmy Greaves' shirt till last so he could dry his hands.
Didn't need to run a million miles.
Didn't need to run, exactly.
He scored all those goals in an era where you got kicked all over the park and the pitches were either mud heaps or sand pits.
Yep.
And
that heavy ball, that ball that weighed
as well.
It was made of lead, wasn't it?
The man was incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Guys, to make this an fully international now, right? Welcome, Colin. He's from America. we have all the continents on the show now, right? Yeah. Hi, Colin. How you doing? Good morning.
Antarctica supporters group.
The
Antarctica supporters group.
We're getting there. We're getting there, right? We're getting there slowly, but we're getting there.
There's a polar bear. There's a polar bear protesting. Okay, we need him on the show. That's stupid because polar bears live in the North Pole.
Penguins then.
Penguins.
Oh, penguin would be a Batman story then. Oh yeah. And don't forget, guys, you can find Rez now on Twitter. You just joined Twitter, right, Rez?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Spurs.
There's the handle.
Yeah, right. That's the Bat Spurs. That's it, Batman. Yeah.
No, listen. If I tried to do anything that Batman does, even just putting the costume on would probably land me in hospital.
All sections.
And Colin, you're muted, Colin.
Rez, it's a funny place to carry your lunch.
It's true. No, he's got you see, this is Batman's skill. That's what the utility belt is. It's his lunchbox. Okay? Sandwich in one pocket, a little bit of cheese, and then little flask on the
side. What was that song? What was that song?
Rez,
what was that song? Look, we have no bananas.
that was Adam West.
Adam West.
That's the best ever Batman, Adam West. Definitely the best Batman.
Definitely the most unusual.
With his dancing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh dear.
So camp, it was ridiculous.
I know this is off subject.
Colin, we're not talking about you. Don't worry.
There's one episode of Batman where he's Bruce Wayne, and it's right at the end of the show, and this really lovely girl says, "Oh, Mr. Wayne, would you like to come into my room for a cup of hot chocolate?" And he says, "Oh yes," and he looks at the camera and he goes, "Well, life isn't all crime fighting." And that's
humor there, like.
Yeah. And Colin, how things over there in America?
Good. It's starting to get cold. Just the way I like it. I can put a jacket on. You don't have to
Just the
sweat
way you
everywhere.
like it. I came to Manila to get away from the cold.
I enjoy it for a couple of weeks, and then I'm ready for summer again. But other than that, everything's great. I'm actually a couple of towns over from where I live, visiting my mother. She's a big Spurs fan.
Where's Julie?
She's downstairs still waking up, but
it's very early in the morning now.
Colin, you're a Spurs fan, so you have to say, "Where's me Julie?"
Where's me Julie?
Colin, Minnesota, is that where you are?
No, Indiana. He's a Hoosier.
Oh yes. So you guys think that snow is like the sand on the beach? Pretty much.
We don't have much of a problem with it, that's for sure. Yeah.
We should nickname Colin French Lick.
We should all sing that song. Indiana wants me.
But Colin, I think your mic has some feedback sound crackling.
No, it's connection. There's a connection on his lead somewhere that is
loose.
Yeah, loose. Yeah. Okay, guys. Come back to a bit more serious subject, right? Because Rest point me to that last Sunday we did a show about the Trust THST. I went and binge watched all their YouTube videos, and Rest did ask me on private messaging that what did I discover, right? And so I did tell Rest that I will let him know, because texting, I don't know, I'm not gonna text 3,000 words into WhatsApp. Right. So guys, you guys go and have a look yourself. This is my opinion of the THST, right? One thing I discovered that the THST is actually an independent, right, run body for the Spurs fans. They don't have anything. They don't take any money from the club directly. That's why I said directly first, because indirectly we do not know what's been portrayed. Just to let Rest know, your £10 member fee, right, is charged per annum, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I made a mistake.
Yeah, it's per annum. Yeah, it's per annum. And I've discovered that the THST is just not the only supporters body at the moment. There are a few more out there, but those supporters body, right, they are backed by the club because they do a lot of charity works and all that. There's one called something Lily White, and another one is called Spursability. These Spursability does have a channel, but very weirdly they only have one subscriber, but they only have one video. So
is Daniel Levy their one subscriber?
Maybe.
No, that's marketing, so it'd be Donna Cullen.
Yeah, the Donna Cullen. Okay, so what I've discovered about the THST is that there's an avenue there for us to actually unite to have a single, what I call, objective, right? But sadly enough, right?
Objection, Daniel Levy.
Not that's another part of it. Whether
objection,
they are,
I suppose. Objective.
The problem is that the THST, right, has been calling for Daniel Levy's accountability. They have been. It's not they haven't. They have been. But the problem is that they've been swatted away all the time because Daniel Levy doesn't care about them. Maybe it's because, right, the numbers in the THST is not big enough. Imagine if the THST had about 300,000 members, right? Then maybe Daniel Levy will sit up and take notice of them. Because now we're just 20,000 members in the THST, right? Daniel Levy doesn't care. Who are you? You see? There are a few things I've seen is that, of course, after we did our Sunday show, somehow or another, THST came out and started to talk on a couple of YouTube channels, right? like a few of them, like Cheese Room, Last Word on Spurs, Prince Carlin, right? And somehow or another, how I know is that I watched it too. The two co-chairs is Kat is a lady, and Martin, right? Martin Cloak.
Kat Lewis and Martin Cloak. Yeah.
Martin Cloak, yeah. Their secretary is Peter Haynes.
Haynes, yeah.
Yeah. And from there, right, Peter Haynes says that the THSC is governed by something like what I said.
Financial Conduct Authority.
Financial Conduct Authority is one thing. They also are governed like something like I told you, the Registrar of Societies in Malaysia. They are governed by that too. Yeah. So they have a constitution. They are run democratically. The board members and all that, right? In all the hierarchy, they're all elected. Correct? Yeah.
Yep.
I do have one little issue with them is that it shows a bit of something that I don't like is that they have a meeting in Amber's Arms. There's a pub somewhere. They call
Antwerp.
The Antwerp Arms.
Antwerp Arms.
Antwerp
Arms. And some of the board members are shareholders of the Antwerp Arms. So that's something I find it a bit,
They did a charity thing to keep it open, I think.
So, one thing is good with THSC is they do a lot of charity work, the food bank and all that, right? They are not bad guys, right? It's the only thing is that now is that how do we find a way, right, to incorporate them to follow a certain kind of path, right, to at least get the respect of the club. All this while they're being swatted away is because the club don't respect them. Because number one, they are not their mouthpiece, right? Because a lot of people out there have been saying that the THST is Daniel Levy's mouthpiece. So we are trying to see whether if they are or if they are not. But I think they are not, right? If you go through the actions that have been done. But the question is that they've been around for the past 20 years. And of course, their constitution maybe is not to question the club, right?
No.
Their constitution is to help the supporters.
Yes.
Correct. But now, with so many dissatisfied supporters, right? I think what the THST should do now is to change their focus a bit, all right? To find out how can we help the supporters who are dissatisfied, right?
Right. So can I come in on this?
Sure, go ahead.
On some of these. So there's a couple of points that I think need to sort of answer.
Go ahead.
In terms of funding, there is no funding from the club.
Yes.
Even if it's direct or indirect. Okay. They are very, very clear on that. They're not a supporters group like you get, your Bangkok supporters group, your Liverpool supporters group, or whatever their sort of things are around the world. And there are loads of them around the world. Those ones, I'm not sure what kind of influence the club has directly. I think there's funding somewhere, but that's very much club supporters group, supporters trust, completely independent. They would not, their own constitution would probably not allow them to be funded in that way. So that's something that we've got to be pretty clear on, unless there's some really deep skullduggery going on. But again, some of the things that have happened suggest that no, this can't be this scenario. It's just applying a bit of logic.
Yeah.
The thing you got to bear in mind with regard those organizations that are backed by the club, like Spurs Ability or whatever they are, the reason they're backed by the club is that because they are what I would call a constituency organization. They're there to represent a specific group within the overall fan base. So people with disabilities, for instance, they would, Spurs Ability would be focused on them only, rather than a supporter without any disabilities. The THST is the only organization, independent fan-led organization that represents every supporter or is there for every supporter. There's no, you don't have to be of a particular group or constituency for them to be your representative, if you like, with regard the numbers and the objectives, see, you've got to bear in mind that the supporters trust is there to help supporters. Now, supporters have varying needs. It's not just a single objective. And the amount of work that the Supporters Trust does with regard disability, with regard helping supporters, as I've said, who have lost their tickets, for instance, in terms of there've been cases where people have been banned by the club from attending, sometimes on spurious grounds, that the Supporters Trust have helped get their tickets back. The Supporters Trust, does work with heads of department within the club on those issues. So the objective that we might think is most important in terms of, getting the club run better, serving that alone might do a disservice to other people that the Supporters Trust is also there to help. They can't focus only on a single objective, and I wouldn't want them to, if I'm being honest. But in terms of numbers, but you can't force somebody to take out a THSCT membership. What you've got to do is encourage people. You can't expect the organization to do it. What are they going to do? They're not going to hold a gun to someone's head and say, sign up now.
I understand that part.
In actual fact, it's our failing, really. Those of us who sort of, speak to supporters and on media like this, we should, every single podcast should be saying, go out there and join the THST. Go out there and join the Supporters Trust. It's our responsibility, really, if we're that serious.
Sorry, Les. Is it possible to join if you're like in a foreign country, like?
Yes.
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can.
They have.
I've joined.
You've been signed up last week, didn't you?
Okay.
I've joined. I've signed up as a associate. The one, the international fan that you don't pay money, right? Especially when Kat was on.
Cheeseman. No, she was
on. Kat. She was on Last Word on Spurs. She was saying it. Yeah, she was on. No, that's why I'm saying sometimes. They should actually. Okay, hold on. Let me just do a big up to Stephen. All right, Stephen Feedley TV. Right, big up to him. Most probably next week we'll join. Me and Arthur will join him for a F1 watch along or something like that. All right. Let's see how it goes. Yeah. And Adam will join us too. Yeah. F1 watch along. Yeah. Right.
Love the F1.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But sorry, don't forget Stephen is an Arsenal fan, right? So, but big up to him.
Leave the banter at the door.
Yeah, leave the banter at the door. Yeah, we're in the F1 now.
No,
all right.
Good luck.
You don't know how much that affects me.
But Rez, I was saying is that maybe it's time for the THST, right, to come up themselves and try to show more of themselves to the Spurs fan out there, especially now with YouTube around, and they do have their own channel, And to tell the truth, right, I went to their channel and I subscribed to it, and they only have 185 subscribers. And I was going like, what?
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering why.
Because it's not their primary objective.
No, I understand.
Market themselves. They're there to help supporters. They don't understand. And they're all volunteers. They're all volunteering their time.
I understand. Yeah, one part is that, right? They're all voluntary. They don't get paid for it. They do it on their spare time, right?
Right.
But maybe they should expand their board or something like that. Have a certain structure.
That still won't necessarily, lead to greater media involvement. The issue here is that you're talking about people who, you've got to understand that someone like Rachel, who is sort of involved in I think it's the disability side of things, the amount of work that she would have to do would preclude her from being able to necessarily work on the media side of things. Someone like Peter Haynes.
Well, I mean, why? I know Peter Haynes, the secretary, he's got a lot of work to do. I know, I understand. Yeah. Everybody has got a lot of work to do. Why don't they find somebody else, appoint somebody else to do their media side, the marketing side?
Suggest that to them.
Maybe I should suggest that. Don't worry, Rez. We are suggesting. Rez. Don't worry. Hold on, Rez. We are suggesting it to them now.
Okay,
somebody's
fine,
watching.
The thing to bear in mind, this is the issue again. It is. See, I'm very sort of defensive of the supporters. Not because I necessarily think that they're 100% effective or that they can't do things better. Yeah, I think every organization can do things better. Always, there's always room for improvement.
Yes,
the reason that I'm defensive of them, though, is that there's a streak within our fan base, and it's quite a wide one, that looks at this organization as if they are supposed to be the savior of the fan base.
Yes.
They're not. They're there to help.
I know. That's why
You know?
we must let the fan base know that they are not the savior unless you join and be part of it and try to be the savior. That's what I'm trying to say. Rest, I'm not attacking them. You know, in the beginning, I was. But after I've seen what you've been talking about and all that, that's why I brought you on to our show last Sunday to understand more. And after that, what has happened? At least now they are opening up. That's why, like I say,
they are receptive. They are
receptive, and they will
what their members say, because that's the only people they can talk to.
Can I chip in there?
If the membership has an idea, if the membership wants something, and enough people want it, it does filter back up to the board, and then the board will essentially. That's what the board is there to do. Is there to represent what is prevalent within the membership's view. They can take the supporters' view as well, but then at the same time that makes it anti-democratic. If say for instance all the fan base, within the fan base, loads of people say you should be protesting against the bad, but then within the membership that is not a majority view. That's anti-democratic. So what has to happen? The fans who want this have to join the trust and then send that view.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And that
okay,
will happen over time.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I chip in there?
Yeah.
I'm as you know, I'm on the Irish Hotspur show on the fan show on the Mondays, and big up to the Harris Army.
Big up to Harris Army.
There's a WhatsApp group which has got so many members that I switched the notifications off on my phone. Every now and again,
that's why I haven't joined
it. Every now and again I click on to see what's been said, and there's a lot of distrust, rightly or wrongly, about the trust. And I actually tried to defend them on this WhatsApp group and say, I think you're being a bit unfair, blah blah blah. And I think the latest that's happened is that David Harris has actually contacted a couple of the trust members to try and get them on the show. So I think that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why, Brad. Remember, I was talking to Rest. We did that show on Sunday, right? Nobody was talking about the trust at all. After that show came out, pop, 3 shows with the trust in it, right? So someone is out there listening to us. But what I'm saying now is, right, if we need to band together, right, I think the trust is the best vehicle to have on now, because they already have the infrastructure there. They already have the people there. It's only how are we going to go in, right? Because don't forget, it's a democratic process. If 10,000 members newly join up, let's say full members, right, pay their 10 quid and all that, right? That 10,000 members, if those 10,000 members are leave it out minded people, right? They could join the trust and appoint their own whatever, right? But not forget about the constitution of the trust is to look after the supporters. So it's a big job. Job 1, looking after supporters' needs is the most important thing, correct? Job 2, they need, like I said, like what Rest says, every organization has got room for improvement. So what we are trying to do here is to find a way to let the trust know that there are certain ways they can improve. And for more of my discovery is that, right, Rest, sorry to say, it's my opinion,
Hi,
they
Kim.
are not. Hi Kim. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes, hi Kim. can you hear us, Kim?
Yeah. Been
Okay.
listening to chaps.
You see, like what we always say, that Levy is always reactive, not proactive. So I find it sometimes. I found out through their shows and all that. Maybe the trust is similar in that way, but they have no choice. They have to be only reactive but no proactive, because they are not allowed to be proactive. Right. So we do not know.
They're proactive on the things that they have objectives for. So they're proactive when it comes to disability, when it comes to fundraising and things to keep themselves going. And they are proactive in terms of asking the club questions. After the European Super League debacle, it was them that went to the club. And the reason they did, I mean, they had to react in that thing because the club had directly said to them in a meeting, we have no plans to join any kind of Super League.
I know. I saw that show on the ESL, and that show on the sorry, hold on. On that show, when they were talking about the ESL, right, Res, when they were doing it, right, at that same time, it flipped, because they were saying the trust was saying they were prepared to protest. So that means the trust also believes in protest, but if it's something that they are set to do, right? But like right now, what we are doing is like Levy out, Ine out, and all that. That is not their agenda. So that's why they are not looking into that.
It shouldn't be their only agenda. It could be on their agenda.
Yes, at the moment
that
it's not.
has to be reflective of what the membership is saying.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
I
understand.
for instance, I was in the meeting where we were voting on whether or not to ask the board of the club to resign. Also, we were voting on the motion that they had put down democratically to say, look, this is what we're going to say to the club. And there were plenty of voices out there who were against protests, were against that kind of direct activism. You've got to understand that organization is a collection of people, and they're not all going to have the same view.
I understand.
So because it's like politics. When
it is politics.
When you have an election, when you have an election, not everyone votes for the party that wins. But that party
in Russia.
That party.
Or Malaysia.
Oh, to the people.
That party is there to represent everybody in the country because they are the ruling party. But that doesn't mean that everyone supports everything that they do. And it's the same within the trust. It's the majority view that wins. So the way in which you could guide the trust to be more activist is for people to join and to send that message up through the membership to the board, stand for election to the board. If you have a manifesto and you're a member of the supporters trust, you have every right to stand for election. Go on, Brad.
That's exactly what I said in on the WhatsApp chat I was having. I said, well, look, it's quite cheap to join. Just join them.
Yeah.
Then you can have your say. You can ask them. So
absolutely. It's very easy to stand on the sidelines and snipe than it is to But if you really have a problem with it, join and do something.
But I do have one. I have one question, Res. I did join as associate member quite some time back. They did send me emails and all that in the beginning stages, asking me and all that. They did send once. You remember they sent out one survey that had about 100 questions in it. Yep.
Yes,
I answered that. Yeah. I answered it right, and I did something naughty, like in every open comment I put Levy out, Enig out. Right? No. And
how would you describe your heritage? Levy out.
Levy out. No, but the funny thing is, right, Res, I've not received an email from them after that ever again.
I'm shocked.
Maybe that's why Swade need to think that they are on Levy's side. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or maybe, maybe they have not answered me. Maybe because I'm an associate member, and I'm an international associate member.
One thing I'll say, there is a little one problem that I think can very readily be addressed is that they would benefit from improving their organization, their administrative organization. They're a little bit haphazard.
Haphazard on that. All right.
So that I'd readily say, and that's a valid criticism. That's not attacking the trust. You're just saying, look, do a bit better on this.
Big up, Bob.
Hey, Bobby.
There you go, you legend.
You're a legend. Yeah, Bobby, you called out Alan Shearer last night, right?
I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
Oh my gosh, Bobby.
What did he say?
Okay. Now, you want me to say it? You're gonna say it, Bobby.
You go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead.
Bobby was questioning. I'm fully supportive of the Sheikhdom now.
Bobby was saying, when did Alan Shearer come out?
Yeah, no, there's a lot more to it. I wasn't calling him anything. But
I know.
Someone mentioned that he came out, and I missed it.
He came out from where?
Oh.
Yes, mate.
Just a cup of tea.
It's
Good afternoon,
gin.
brother.
It's actually gin.
There's a big tea on this as well.
Bobby, Brian was on just now for a short while. He's at the stadium.
Been speaking to him. Yeah,
that's good. Maybe I think he's got to do a watch along later, right, with the boys.
Yeah, that's right. He's going on to We Are Tottenham TV later on to do a watch along. I was listening to your Supporters Trust comments, and I think my personal view, you know, when you're supporting a club, a shitty club right now like Spurs, we always want somewhere where to point our anger at and point the blame at.
Yeah,
and I'm probably definitely guilty of actually pointing the finger towards
me too.
Towards the trust and saying what they're doing. They don't support us, and what they did on the cheese room specifically. I didn't watch the last word on Spurs, but what they did on the cheese room was come out and basically delve into what they do and show a bit of clarity. And they need to do that more often because I said on the tweet later, there was a lot of opinions about them that I changed after watching that, you know, and they should be out there a lot more. Would I go as far as saying I found a newfound respect for them? No, because there's a lot of things that I don't agree with them. But it's there's certainly a lot more finger pointing and certainly a lot more blame that I can point towards them and say you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Because now there's a bit more clarity with regard to what they do and how they go about it. And like you say, you know, how disgruntled they are with, let's be honest, Levy. You know, they did go in on Levy and Enoch and lack of ambition. And they were echoing a lot of what we've been saying. So, there's a new opinion, newfound opinions that change. So they should, I do believe they should be out there a lot more often because, hey, if they can change.
Bob,
Sorry,
I think what's happening, Bob, is that as I previously said, a lot of people think that they need to be the savior of the fan base, whereas it's only one thing that, you know, it's one out of a large raft of things that they need to do that they have responsibility for. So, like any organization that has a number of different things on its agenda, they can't do everything. There's only limited resources that they've got available to them to look after all of these things. So it's a matter of prioritization. But in terms of holding the club to account, they are, as a group, they are probably the most successful. Yeah. They are the ones who have actually got answers out of the club.
Yeah.
You know, with the best will in the world, I don't see a single person on this screen or the people that I've met in the street who have ever got anything but a cookie cutter answer out of the club via email, you know, or a phone call. They meet with Levy and Donna Cullen and Matthew Collicott and Rebecca Capelhorn and all those people, you know, and the head of the department.
Absolutely, Reza. And like I say, maybe they should do. Who are we to suggest or ask them to do a bit more? But I do believe they do a lot more of that, mate. You know, there'd be a lot of because the opinions are out there, aren't they? They are a Levy mouthpiece. They don't do what. And if they can change my opinion, and I'm not going to say it when he's there, but there was a lot of things that. Brian Daigle actually was surprised by as well, and if they can change fucking Daigle's mind, they can change anybody's mind.
That's a victory in itself.
Yes, no, Bob. That's why I was saying, you know, on last day's Sunday stream with Rez and more or less the same group here, right? I was already saying we need to get to know them better and give them a chance, right? And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even last one was Chris Cowlin also had a trust member on speaking to him, right? Peter Hain, the secretary. So it's a step that we can make forward, right? To find a way, right? Maybe use it as a vehicle for us to, you know, move forward to a certain extent because they do have the numbers there. Okay, so even though it's not big, it. Right? Bob, I think you've joined, right?
Oh yeah.
Bob has joined. Yeah, he's you're a full member, right? You paid the 10 quid.
Yeah, I'm a full member. Yeah. So we all want a voice, don't we? And we don't want what we want is a less of us and them. There's so many. When you stand back, look at the bigger picture. We all want Spurs to be successful, and we don't want any of that us and them. There's different ways of articulating it. There's different ways of putting a debate together, a healthy debate together. You know, Levy-inners, and I don't see any Levy-inners, but the Levy, I don't care if he stays or goes, and the Levy-outers, all want a successful Spurs, and and it's
that's
finding
true.
that bridge,
So do the
finding that bridge
Louisianas.
where we can articulate it properly and have that, it's conversation and different opinions coming together, and no one's going to turn around and say, you know what, you're right, I'm not leaving you out anymore. No one's going to say that, but at least there'll be hopefully some form of understanding, and that's what we want. That's what everyone wants. Some form of understanding that a change is necessary, be it while Levy's there, Enica there, or them going out. The end goal is a change and a more successful Spurs, and it's hard. People can't differentiate. They just don't seem to differentiate.
Yeah. Let me read out. Let's hold on. Let me read out David's Irish Hotspur's comment. Right. The Trust are not on your side, or they would not have organized their separate protest for the Super League, other than joining forces with
us.
I think
us.
It's
an Irish thing.
How many people did Irish Hotspur have? How many people were part of that protest?
Mm-hmm. I think not many. Yeah.
10, I mean, 100. The Supporters Trust have 20,000 members. So why should they be joining your protest? On top of everything else, what about Scottish Hotspurs protest? What about English Hotspurs protest? So basically what you're saying is that they have to come and join each of you. They're the biggest blanket organization. You should be basically feeding into them, not them feeding out you, because that fragments them. Yeah. That's a ridiculous thing.
That's why I
have to say.
I know, Rest. Yeah,
Rest is going in.
Remember, this is what I discovered. This is what I'm discovering after binge watching the YouTube videos from the Supporters Trust. Right?
Fair play to you.
Yeah. The thing is, right. I found out another thing is right. When that day when the first protest for the ESL came out and all that, they came out with their own video thing, right? For the supporters to say their mind and all that. That threw me off a bit, because if you allow people to come and say your mind, why are you doing just a 2-minute video of people saying things which have no relevance to the ESL and no, sometimes things are done when you do something like that, right? That's why this comment comes out from David. Yeah,
that's democracy.
I know, I understand. I understand. But the thing is that if you say you're going to do a video for a protest, but it doesn't turn out to be a video for a protest.
But again,
I mean, that's weird.
We can't expect them to be everything for all people.
I know.
We're asking too much. You just apply a little bit of critical thinking. They are a group of people. They're not the savior of the fan base.
Yeah,
they can only do so much. Limited resources, varied voices, plurality in voices. You know, that is far more desirable than having a monolithic closed shop in which you have one group of people who are untouchable, determining what the course of this organization's journey is. You know,
that's power to the people.
Yeah, which would you rather?
Smith again, Wolfie.
Eugene.
Yes,
using Rez's point a bit earlier is because it's fragmented, they've got no teeth.
That's it.
We're losing power.
I mean, I'll probably, without speaking for Rez, I don't think neither of us are sitting here and trust apologists. You know, we're not saying they're the best thing since sliced bread, or they are going to be the people who change the way Levy or any. But I was surprised. I can only speak for myself. I was surprised how many things I actually agree with them, and how much stuff I actually saw we had in common to an extent. Now, how they communicate it, how they proactively communicate it, is a whole different issue, and that's where my issue comes into with the trust. You know, they should be a bit more proactive. They should be telling us what's the latest on the statue situation. They should be telling us when, why, and if they are going to be meeting with Enoch and Levy, and everything they stated should have been common knowledge before they actually come out. That's my issue. But like I say, there was a lot of things that I agree. And last thing I want, if we are singing from the same hymn sheet on certain things, is an us and them divide. If they are going down the route of us and the Levy outers and the Lenik changes, then why not combine forces and have a bigger voice? So I think there's a lot more education towards a number of people. I mean, I know Derek's come out and said they're leaving backside liquors. I'd suggest just going to the with an open mind and have a look at it, mate. I mean, I've got a lot of issues with the trust.
Can I come in on this? Right, this is the thing. Right?
Go ahead.
I don't know which of you guys have sort of worked as managers of people. One of the things that you learn is that when you want to give feedback to someone, you criticize behavior and not character.
That's right.
That's true of life as well. That's true of life as well.
Yeah.
That is what you should apply to the supporters trust.
Right.
You can criticize what they've done, not what they are. And a lot of our supporters criticize what they are. The trust are Levy back. What's it called? Arse lickers.
Yeah. I agree with
what they are.
I agree with Irish though. What Dave's just put. Big up, Dave. Does it not make sense to unite all supporters on side and speak to all the other factions rather than have different? Yeah, and that's one thing I agree with you, mate. You know, they should be a combined voice.
Okay, fine. Then again, I would challenge Irish Hotspur.
Yeah.
How?
Proactive communication, mate. You
That's not going to do it. That's not going to guarantee it. It might.
No,
help.
it won't guarantee it. But what it did, what the cheese room did do is make a lot of people aware of what they are, what their mindset is.
Right.
I reckon if they did that a lot more proactively, Rez, I do believe there would be a lot more people. It's a bigger voice.
Take that lesson. But the thing is that isn't gonna necessarily convert things. I'm sorry to pick you out, Irish Hotspur, but it comes across as if you have a specific personal gripe with them because they didn't join your protest. Have you asked why? Have you questioned them? Have you said to them, look, why didn't you join forces with us? We had this protest going, and actually find out what their answer was. This is what we have also within the fan base more generally. We like to snipe at each other.
But Rez, I would say no one did, mate.
You know?
I didn't go to the trust. I was there at the. But I have to go back to their appearance in the cheese room and big up cheese room. You know, till then I wasn't sure. I was a Derek. I was a Derek thinking they're arse lickers of leaving. It's because the lack of knowledge, the lack of education.
But that's not from deliberate thing. They might not have known. They might not have realised that we need to do more of this.
And
now,
that's what I agree with Dave.
I'm not directing this at you, Bob, or anyone on this channel. I don't think any of you have like that. But there are ridiculously silly things that I see some supporters talking about. You know, like they're criticised for calling on the board to resign. Because that never happens. Because people in leadership positions never resign after a scandal, do they? And papers and media and all of that asking for MPs to resign or CEOs to resign after they've done something egregious. No, that's beyond the line. That is, how dare the supporters trust ask the board to resign? What? Are you serious?
No.
You know,
I understand.
refusing to meet when the club said we don't want a written record. That's the supporters trust fault, apparently, not the club for saying that we're not going to have the thing that we say to you written down. That's the sort of criticism I'm talking about.
I believe they actually did say about resigning to the board.
Yeah, and that's fine, and that's valid.
Yeah,
that's a valid.
Yeah.
But of course, it got ignored.
No, I questioned that too. When the program came out for the Aston Villa game, right? I dissected it, right? And my biggest thing was that misspent of £230 million on buying players. I was saying, who's accountable for it? Where's the transparency of the 230 million? How many commissions have been paid, right? Yeah. But that is nothing to do with the supporters trust. Everything has to do with Levy and the
board. Do you know what the real irony here is that I'm probably now going to be labelled as a THST mouthpiece.
Not you. No, I will be. Rest. You will be. I will be.
Okay. Unfollow.
I started all this. Not funded by the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust. Okay, I'm independent.
Your own independent trust.
No.
Rez, what you're saying about David Harrison, the Irish Hotspur, in defence of David, he is actually, as I said earlier, trying to get them on his show. And David's got, I think, at last count, probably 1,500 subscribers. So that would, if he gets
okay. All right, it's very simple. Brad, it's very simple, right? Kat, Rachel, Peter, Martin, if you're watching the show now, right, or any of you guys are watching the show, please go and reach out to David and be on their show and have a show and have a nice talk with him. He's a reasonable guy, right? We're all reasonable, right? And all this started last Sunday. Yeah,
I would also say in response, all you channels who have this idea of what the Supporters Trust is, put those aside and open your minds to them.
No, I've opened my mind
open-mindedly and have a discussion with each other.
Yeah, I've opened my mind. Yeah,
Yes.
This all started last 10 days ago with Johnny's channel. Remember, Rez? I was in the comments and all that. That's how I got Rez to come on last Sunday to talk about this. That we need to give the Supporters Trust a chance to explain themselves. We need, like I said, learn more about the THST, what they are doing, how they are doing it. What are their problems? Because every organization must have their problems internally. Maybe certain things they can't do, right? But like what you have been saying, Rez, what if we group up 10,000 members now, we flood the Supporters Trust, right? The next board meeting, we run it. That's it.
It'll take a little bit longer than that. You've got to.
No, I'm just saying hypothetically. Hypothetically, right? Hypothetically.
That's a lot. But yeah.
It's not a coup.
That's a good idea. Now you're giving us ideas. Now you're giving us ideas, mate.
Don't give us ideas, Rez.
I'll bring the guns.
We're going to rename it the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Junta.
Can I just make a point here? Apologies to David Harris. The Irish Hotspur has actually got 4.36 thousand subscribers.
I mean, a great vehicle. That's a great vehicle to bring, as what you're talking about, Eugene, earlier, about uniting the fan base. But when you've got 20,000 members, see, 20,000 members are members. They've paid money, or they've committed to something. No disrespect to any YouTuber, they're fantastic people, and I love all of you.
Thank you.
But a subscriber is not the same commitment.
Yeah, of course.
As Brian has demonstrated recently with the protest, the fact that all these people say, yes, I'm going to be there, I'm going to stand up and beat my chest and protest, and 30 people turn up.
Yeah.
I totally agree with Chris, by the way. Big up, Chris.
Chris,
Chris,
with the protest, it'll start in small steps. We have to start in small steps. And
I'm gonna call on the trust, and I'm gonna do what you did, Eugene. I'm gonna call on the trust. I'm gonna call on Martin and Rachel and Kat and Peyton and say, come on these channels, guys. Come on, and don't let me be the only voice that's defending you or trying to explain you, because I'm just an ordinary member. I'm not on the board. You guys are. Come on these.
Maybe you should be on the board.
Come and talk.
We should get you on the board.
Reds for the trust.
Reds for chairman.
You know me with the baldness. That's from all the work I do. You want to say more?
No, Rez, that's just a prerequisite for being on this channel. We're getting Bobby.
Wait, what about me?
No. Arthur, seriously, that hair
Arthur, Arthur, you get the
gorgeous.
You like
that, do you, Riz?
I do.
It is. I've got to say, it is the most realistic. It is the most realistic wig I've ever seen. But big up.
Arthur gets the big daddy.
Guys, did you notice Bob's two black eyes?
Oh man.
Oh dear.
But no, it's good.
Colin,
it's good, guys.
We can't hear you.
Your mic. You okay?
That's a blessing in disguise. Trust me, it's a blessing in disguise.
No, but guys, it's good. You see, since after last Sunday, right? We are more open to talk about this.
Yes.
Before that, everybody's hiding behind the rock and pointing fingers. But at least now we come out and say something, right?
Yeah.
Directly to let them know, right? You guys actually should take the lead and be proactive in a certain way. Right, like what Rez was saying. If you don't have somebody to look after your media side, appoint someone. Okay, do something.
Ask someone.
Ask someone, right? Appoint Rez.
No, I was going to say I'm quite minded to join the THST now, which I wasn't before. So they're increased visibility. And you know, I've got some skills in that area, so I might offer to help them with their visibility. I mean, I'm sure Bob. I don't want to give you work to do, Bob. I'm sure you would as well. I mean,
but following on from that, what's wrong with us reaching out to each other, to each group like we've got? A touching base and joining together.
To use a really rubbish analogy, if our supporters base is like a
the thing is, it's nothing wrong.
Needs to be the tip on the end of it, and we need to like galvanise.
That's what I've been trying to say. That's what we need to do, because they already have the structure and organization there. It's just how we go in and try to use it to a certain extent, not to forget that the Supporters Trust main objective is to help the supporters, right? They can be a different agenda, different things that they are appointed to do in steps, right? Like, you know, if the trust was in the protest, like I was saying, really in the protest, then you might have more than 30 people there. You might have 1,000 people there. Yeah, no, I understand the rest.
Not 1,000.
And listen, Eugene, guys, what's wrong with it if we actually did so much activation that this turned it on its head and they went out and spent on a load of players and sorted the problem out?
That's it.
David, you are so spot on with that comment there. We're so fractured and we're split up into different countries.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah,
but
that's why
those things can be mitigated for, as he's saying, as David is saying, social media, the things that connect us, using those channels. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. But how would you say? I mean, okay. Since we've talked about the Supporters Trust and all that, right? We have an understanding. We are willing to give them a chance. Like even Bob, you know, in the beginning, I was really anti them. I said a lot of things about it, right? And Bob, about the no statue policy thing, right? I was watching one of the shows. You know, I've been I don't know why. When I follow a scent, I follow it like crazy, right, Bob? You know my OCD, right? Seriously, I binge watched their videos on their channel. Then I watch Cheese Room, Last Word on Spurs, Chris Cowlin. Right. These three big channels have put them on. And I think was it Peter Hines or was it Martin Klopp was saying that the statue thing was actually like this. They were already planning to have a museum for the COVID for the legends and all that. You know, I went out and blasted them 2 weeks ago about this thing. Right, I had my statement. Remember, I put a statement out and all that to have a museum and all that, and tell Levy to turn it into a tourist destination, and then he can make hell of a lot of money out of it by charging people tickets price to go in just to watch look at the statues and buy souvenirs. Okay, that's beyond the other point, right? But at least we do know that they have certain plans for things like that. But whether the club does it or not is another thing, right? So, in the end of the day, the trust is a vehicle that if we do find a way to, how you say it, I mean, I joined as an international member. Maybe all of you guys here, right, who have not, if you are based in UK, go ahead and join, right, the Supporters Trust, right, and then you can have a say when you can have a say when they're having their meetings and all that. Like for us in overseas international fans, unless that they say that we pay our 10 quid or 15 quid to be a whatever member there is, right, we are entitled to be involved in your meetings through Zoom or through, you know, a technological platform that we all can have a say. Then maybe I will pay that 15 quid to be a full-time member or something like that. Correct? But if I'm not there, I would rather be just an associate member. So at least I still get their emails, which I have not received in the past 6 months or so. After what I did.
No, it's room for improvement. I've not received many from them recently either. I have to say.
I get an email. I get an email quickly.
There are, as we've been saying, there is room for improvement.
Yeah. Can I ask I know Eugene, you're
and Colin asked the question as well,
and Oliver. But what about the guys who aren't in the UK? Not you, Eugene, because obviously you got. But all of you guys, what are your views are on the trust? Do you go by what the fan base is saying, or do you specifically actually look into what they do?
Well, it's a bit. Well, I would say it's a bit tempered by the fact that we're getting all this feedback through the platform here. So it's not like we're totally uneducated as to what the trust does. My previous conception of the trust was that they were a little bit of a lapdog, but now I see that the sincerity that's there, but they are still. I still feel they're a little bit of a soft touch.
Yeah, I agree with
Adam?
everything. Everything.
Adam, go ahead, Adam.
Okay.
You were saying, Adam.
Well, like yeah, well, like
big up, Adam. By the way, big up, mate.
Thanks. Piss off, Bob.
Piss off.
Said in love. Said in love.
Yeah. Oh, Rex, piss off is a term of endearment for us here.
Right, piss off.
That policeman didn't think so. That I told last week.
Oh, come on! He's not in the Spurs family, so he doesn't know that. Okay, Adam, sorry. Go ahead.
Go on,
So if you're doing his sign language, it would be like.
Nick.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
That's going back a bit, isn't it, Jim Davidson?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, Adam. Go ahead, Adam.
Culturally, I think.
Yeah, culturally and probably ethically.
Yeah.
Yes, Adam. Go ahead.
Anyway, all the information I've gotten about the supporters trust has come from the YouTube channels, and what they were saying before basically this week is that they were basically lapdogs and all that stuff, or that's what it was coming across as. But now that I hear again from the YouTube channels that after them appearing on YouTube themselves, that they come across as now more sincere and stuff, I suppose really my view is probably the same as all of you. They're not as bad or as subservient to Lenik as we all thought they were. And maybe there is a chance for us all to come together and find just find that balance, that common goal. I mean, it's so like you said, Bob, or everyone else said, communication is key here.
100%.
I mean, I'm a 20-year-old fool from Ireland, and I can see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if we reach out, as I said, to every station like we've got, you become a force.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You build up your ranks. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Power to the people.
And yes, go ahead, Adam. Anything else?
No, actually, fun fact, or not a fun fact, actually, an alarming fact. I didn't even know there was a supporters trust until the whole ESL fiasco.
A lot of people don't even know. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You see, this is the thing you got to remember, right? We as fans are pretty much unarmed.
Yeah.
The only weapon we have is our numbers.
Yeah.
Right? If you can sharpen that weapon, and our voices, but that comes from our numbers, right? You can sharpen that weapon. If you can hone that weapon, then you stand a chance.
Yes.
I think that is a shame, though, isn't it, Reg? And Adam as well. The fact that he had to take some adverse situation to come to the fore for you guys to even realise that a supporters trust, the clues in the name, supporters trust wasn't even there till there was a big outcry about a certain thing. And that's what I keep saying. They need to be a bit more proactive, be a bit more out there. And you'd be surprised. And it's probably the silence that's letting other people make a narrative or opinion about them. If they came out and told us what their agenda was and how they feel and what their thoughts are on Lenik, then I think they'll surprise themselves.
They would. Question. Who here has worked for a very large organization, sort of maybe 20, 30,000 people or more, right?
London Transport.
There you go. So, when you have organizations like that, one thing that is inherent in them is that they are slow to move.
Yeah.
Very.
Well, we have good unions.
It takes time.
Yes. Big up, Jens. But guys, like I've been saying, for Prithvi, for me, I've already joined as an international associate member. If you guys, who are international, you can go onto their website and just join as an associate member free of charge, like what I've done. Right? So spread the word out, right?
Send the link in the private chat then, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Please, yeah.
Private chat. Whoever's got the link.
Colin,
Rest, have you got
asked
the link?
Colin asked the question ages ago, and I keep meaning to answer it. Sorry, Colin, for not getting to it. With regard, the question that he asked, I think, was, are they in over their head? Is that what you're asking? Yeah. You see, they might be, but the reason for that is that that's not what they formed for.
Yeah.
So this is they've fallen into that. As I've said before, they've sort of had to be the ones trying to hold
They had to
the
step up.
to
Yeah.
account because there's nobody else.
Yeah.
This is where we can assist. The more members they have, the more resources they have, the more people potentially who can step up into leadership roles. Not that I'm criticizing the leadership, but if they're overstretched, if they're not necessarily things that they're interested in, expand the board, as has been suggested. There are ways in which it can become more effective. You can get better organization in terms of the administration. All of these things can happen, but really we've got to look at each other as natural allies and be a critical friend to each other.
Absolutely.
Guys, all you guys who are watching now, right? Do give the trust a chance, right? Join if you don't want to pay the 10 quid. Join as associate member first, right? Just say you come from Persuasion TV, and we're going to raid you. That's all.
Very threatening.
I said it to you before. Contact them yourself and invite someone to come on as them.
Guest
Big up Ankit. Ankit's in the
Ankit,
chat.
yeah, Ankit's in the chat. Big up Ankit. He's a Chelsea fan, but a good friend of ours. Ankit, right?
And you know what? And I'm gonna go slightly off topic here.
Yeah.
This kind of organization is something that we've got an Arsenal fan watching, I believe. We've got a Chelsea fan watching.
Yeah.
As fans of football,
yes,
we should all be coming together as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We should come together more after the ESL.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Have you spoken about the a certain takeover club?
No. We are settling this supporters trust thing first. It's one thing at a time. We settle this supporters trust thing. Okay. Have we talked enough about the supporters trust? We understand what's going on.
Unlike my show, you have an agenda. You have that's fine.
I always have an agenda, right? If I don't have an agenda, I won't be doing this.
Your show is a wonderful chaotic wilderness of Spurs.
It's brilliant, mate. We started off by talking about Newcastle and the morality of the takeover to talking about if Staveley's fit or not. So it was
yeah. And then about Alan Shearer,
Alan Shearer coming out as well.
I must have missed it because I actually watched it last
night.
Who?
Do I still have a lot of feedback? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. A bit of crackling though, buddy. Bit of crackling though.
Yeah.
Damn, okay.
No, they call them pork rinds.
That's it.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Very good.
But like Bob's show yesterday, right? What Cody said was very, very correct. The ownership of the clubs, right, should be actually held by a certain percentage of the fans, right? The clubs should be given back to the fans, And the Newcastle takeover thing, it's so big now, right, that you have pushed the bar so far forward that it's like we can't even reach anywhere near close to them.
Can't even see it.
Look, guys. You know the history of Spurs, how it started and how it got going and how we progressed through the leagues, etc. It all starts from something small. You get some guys.
That's your problem.
Why are you peaking again?
It'd be a bit hard from Manila.
You guys, oh my god.
Listen, that's how it all starts, and it goes from a small acorn grows a big oak. At the end of the day,
now you're bragging.
No, I don't have to do that. My lunchbox is apparent.
Okay, I shouldn't be stirring because I'm church boy. I'm meant to be. Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I forgot where I was now. I was so rudely interrupted.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I apologize. No, from you to saying that things start small and from small acorns, mighty oak trees grow.
And they grow, right? We've
Yeah.
like us, we've grown into a massive organisation, and we're talking about worldwide fans, thousands. Well, I mean, I don't know how many there would be if you put them all together.
Millions.
But we're talking a lot of people. And what I'm really trying to say, coming back to basics, is this started off as fans started to watch the team play over the Tottenham marshes. It grew and grew and grew and grew until they formed a club. Yeah? Then they started to pay to come through the gates. Now, it was the people that owned the team or the club in its infancy. What we need to do is to get to a situation where the fans can actually take back the club. And, with people like Levy and Ennis in charge, it's going to be a major difficulty in doing that. So I don't see, unless we could buy shares and a decent amount of shares, I don't see how we're going to control this club.
We can't do that, Arthur.
Huh?
We can't.
No, exactly.
No.
They're not for sale. They're privately owned. They're not for sale. And so it's a closed shop.
No. The thing is, like, okay, for example, now I give you an example, right? The takeover of the Newcastle United club. The owners are so rich. Okay, what if the owners did some kind of charitable kind of gesture to the fans? I'm going to put out a block of shares for you guys to buy, right? To have part ownership of your club, and maybe put 1 or 2 board members up there to see where the direction of the club is going. But okay, I know that is a big time dream kind of fantasy kind of thing.
Yeah,
right. But
it's not going to happen.
That's like expecting a tiger to become a vegetarian.
Yes.
Stop talking about Eugene's mother.
Jamie, don't talk about my mother.
You said she was a tiger mother.
Even more extreme, a vegan, right?
Vegan.
Have you ever seen a vegan tiger?
Yeah,
I've seen Cody. He's near enough.
I've seen Cody near enough.
But the point is, look, this is the issue. This is what I was talking about with us coming together, not just as Spurs fans, but as football fans.
Yeah,
you can actually make this argument even if you put aside the human rights issues.
Yeah.
Let's take politics out of it, right? If you have somebody who has 300 billion pounds or dollars or whatever
financial fair play
resources, what you're doing is destroying competition.
Yeah.
That's what sport is for. That is what tournaments are for. It's for competition. And that competition has to be fair. And this applies to, and I'm sorry for our viewing Chelsea fan, this applies to Chelsea. This applies to Man City. This applies to PSG.
To everybody. Yeah.
Right?
Everyone, yeah.
Ironically, in the 60s, Spurs were the checkbook club. Right?
But now Newcastle can buy all the tickets.
Yeah. But this is way beyond that. Okay. And look, I've not mentioned anything about the owners' rights on, human rights and all of that stuff. I'm just talking purely in terms of competition. Right? What happens when you have the likes of Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle, and PSG in France is that you are warping the level the playing field that was never fully level anyway. But all you're doing now is just tipping it even more.
Yeah.
What purpose does Burnley serve in this league? What purpose does Norwich serve in this league?
To get relegated.
To get relegated, to be cannon fodder for the likes of Man City, Chelsea, and now Newcastle. That isn't right. Every club should have a decent, not necessarily a good, but a significant chance of taking the title each season.
A fair chance, you're saying.
A fair chance, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, right?
A fair chance.
A fair chance. There's no way on earth Burnley are going to win the league. There's no one on earth that Norwich are going to win the league. There's never in a month of Sundays. Because that particular trophy has been sewn up by 3 clubs now in this country.
And it won't stop, Rez. Because you got to remember, mate, it's not just the clubs who are getting rich. It's the Premier League. It is
absolutely.
the community around. I mean,
Absolutely.
say what about Man City, and I fucking hate Man City and all their fans right now. But what they've done for the surrounding, what they've done for the surrounding area, you can't, you're a bit of a hypocrite when you say they've done so good for the surrounding area, but they are, like you say, buying trophies. The economical revenue that these owners bring into the UK, it's very unlikely it's going to be stopped. And let's be honest. Well, I say be honest, hand on heart. If we were taken over by a £320 billion owner, would we be sitting there and giving our moral high ground of what's right, what's fair?
No.
Probably not.
I think some people.
I'm going to go against the consensus on that, and I would have to say that I would hope that I would have the courage of my convictions. I believe I would.
Same.
Because there are some considered. Now, see, this is where the human rights thing does come back in.
Yeah.
If I was owned by, if my club was owned by, by Mohammed bin Salman, right? And I went and sat down in my seat in the stadium, I would feel dirty knowing that an innocent man walked into one of their embassies and was hacked to pieces by a bone saw. Okay.
And
there are some things that are bigger than football.
But you talk about the bigger picture.
But Rez, what you've been said before, Rez, that's life. That's the world. It's happening every day, everywhere.
And in the world, look, you can't be angelic in the world. You can't be 100% clean. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you jump in the sewer at the first opportunity either. You keep yourself as clean as possible, realistically. So you get
something
I've nicked that line for a song now, Rez.
Something we touched on yesterday, and Eugene, I hope you don't mind, but if you want to delve down that route, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, and nothing, I totally agree with I did a whole show on Qatar's 2022 and the incredible oversight of that, and then at the same time I'm being a hypocrite by saying take over Spurs for 320 billion. So there is a lot of hypocritical stances and views on everyone. But if we want to go down the route of an ownership and the wrongdoings of an ownership, mate, we can go down the American route without going all political. We can go down the Thai route. We can go down the Chinese route. We can go down the Russian route. So if you want to pick out the political, humane wrongdoings of a country, we can go down the Israeli route, and Brian made a big comment about that.
Well, they've done the show. You can definitely go down that route.
Sorry, mate.
Everybody's got that's what I said. Exactly. Everyone has got skeletons in their closet. Right?
I think the bigger you are, I think it comes to each individual's personal red line.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. For me, the red line is I would not be able to listen. If let's say, for instance, bin Salman had taken over Spurs, and I went to the stadium, in my mind, what I would be doing would be excusing all of the things that he does that I find objectionable. Now, we're all hypocrites in a way, right?
Of course.
Apple phone, right? Made in China under really difficult circumstances for those people, right?
Yeah.
I'm a hypocrite. I don't believe that that's right, but I need a phone. So I make the choice. I say, how much hypocrisy am I willing to accept? For me, that would be a step too far. It'd be a step too far for me to do that. But I wouldn't judge another person who would make that deal.
You shouldn't. You should.
However,
in answer to what you were saying earlier, not being funny, but I'm a man of fairly high morals.
Ish.
Give or take one or two.
What, Daddy?
Yeah. But I have to be. I'm in the profession. I'm an accountant, a tax consultant, and I have to be as honest as I can. Otherwise,
Arthur is probably best placed, to explain the way that finances work in football.
Yeah. That's why he wasn't on last week. He was on last week. We're talking about finance.
And I was going to answer your opening statement, which I thought I agree with in a lot of ways, but I would take someone stepping into my club with £320 billion, or even Sheikh Mansour with 32 billion to sort my club out, because in sport, politics should never be intermingled with it, but it is.
It is.
And it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That's a no-no thing.
And listen, that's your personal red line, and I'm not going to criticize you for it. That's your choice. I can't.
Everyone's got their own choice.
I'm not a fascist. I'm not going to force you to think a certain way.
No.
You have your choice. But the point for me is that I think that there is a non-political argument that can be made, and quite cogently, right? Unless you've got, let's say, 92 billionaires ready to purchase a league club and level the playing field.
All the league clubs.
You can't have billionaires dumping money, right? That means own it. I don't have a problem. If you want to own it and you want to spend £100 billion re-energizing Newcastle, which desperately needs it, by all means, happy to do that. Don't spend it on that team.
But I see
competition. That's the issue for me.
I see what's going on in football, at top tier football at the moment, as mirroring life. Those who have,
yes, it is.
Those who
it's
do not.
It is. It is. Yes.
And it's fair.
Everything mirrors.
They should level the playing field.
Yeah. Guys, hold on for a while. Brad has to make a move. So, Brad, last words from you before you go and join Irish on the pump up.
Well,
Irish doing his pump up.
This moral question. I would certainly be asking questions of my own morality. But at the same time, I won't lie to you. If Spurs get taken over 300 billion from a Saudi consortium and we win the league, I'll be up and down the street jumping around, celebrating. It's one of those things that you sort of, you like to take a stand, but we've all had that line, and maybe you can use it. Maybe 50, 60,000 Spurs fans telling their chic owner that human rights should be respected. Maybe that is some way of looking at it, that you can maybe have a say. But anyway, today's game, I'm not sure what the situation is with Son. I've heard he's tested negative and he needs another negative test to be able to play today. It feels like we're the Christians being fed to the lions, or lambs led to the slaughter today, but you never know. There's your team talk. Team talk simple. Ruin their party. So that's my last words. Have a great afternoon, guys.
All right, Brad. Catch you later, Brad.
Come on, you Spurs. Leave you in any count.
Bye, Brad.
Bye.
Shout out to Brian Daigle, by the way.
Yeah. Shout out to Brian Daigle. Right.
Hey Eugene, I'll also be making my move right now because I'll be going outside tonight and I'll be catching the game on my phone. So I'll also be making my move. It was nice talk. Like I didn't know that much about the TS. I didn't know that much about the trust until now. I wasn't keeping track, but after hearing this heated discussion, like it's given me a lot of insights and it was really interesting. So I'm gonna start reading up on that as well.
Good.
Yeah. And Sanska, have a good transition to university, right? Study hard.
Yeah, thanks, Eugene.
Become a billionaire and buy our club, please.
Send them all the miseries.
I think that's the whole I think that's the whole thing about the panel is to make you think.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Spread the gospel of Tottenham to your college buddies.
Definitely. Okay. And my prediction for tonight, my prediction for tonight is 3-1 to Spurs. Hopefully it's a nice win, and hopefully it's not as negative.
See, that's confidence. That's confidence.
Come on, you Spurs.
As we would say,
come on, you Samska.
Okay. See you guys.
Take care, Samska. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Take care.
Right. And Brian Daigle, if you're watching, you want to hop on. Yep. Hop on and hold on. I think I have one more. Shelf side Spurs.
Is he here?
That was
Oh,
me.
you're-
I was just putting my
Oh, rest. I thought it was Johnny coming on.
It's
It
was my shameless plug for the lads at
Johnny,
Spurs, and I'm now going
I
to take the
understand.
opportunity to plug them again. To
Go
plug
ahead.
Johnny
Go on, Sawyer.
and Nick
Yeah.
and Kev and Jens
Jens,
and
yeah.
others
Jens is
who
in the
appears
chat.
on
Yes.
from time to time.
Yeah,
Lovely bunch of lads where we have a nice quiz. We are on the lookout for people who can beat Jens, because before, when he was doing the quiz by himself, he was always getting more than 50%. And then when we had a couple of people going up against him, he kept winning. So we actually think that Jens might be like a secret store of Spurs knowledge, and we're looking to see if we can find him. Even Brian couldn't beat him.
What worries me, Rez?
Hold on.
What worries me?
Brian
is
is on the bus going to Ben and Sim's studio.
What worries me is what you said, Rez. He was doing the quiz by himself, and he still only got 50%.
No, he got more than 50% every time. No. Johnny would bring the questions, and Jens would think. And we were convinced. We said to him, he's got the answers written down somewhere. But he showed us his living room. There's no whiteboard. There's no, his missus in the corner, sort of like reading the answers at nothing. He's genuine, right? So we need. There he is. Yeah. We need someone to see if we can beat him, or if we actually have to know if we've got a phenom on our hands. Because I think it's the latter, right? But anyway, seriously, guys, please join Shelfside Spurs. Come in, watch our videos.
Underrated channel, man. Underrated channel.
We really
Johnny's a good guy. Yeah,
I was actually on a few of your streams, like when I'm not actually live.
Adam's one of our regulars. Adam's one of our regulars.
Adam's a YouTube slag. He's everywhere.
Adam,
I told him to.
I'm proud. My ears were burning.
The story before I got onto Twitter, before I got onto Twitter,
no, stop.
Gosh.
No. Holland's got a flood because you've taken your finger out the dike.
Yeah, but she didn't tell me she was a dyke until afterwards.
I alluded. You went direct.
Oh, Jens.
God, the casual racism.
I might be showing my dude's friend this tomorrow.
Too early, man.
Is this live? Okay, we're past 10 minutes, right? Okay, dikes.
So you're right.
Come on, guys.
Hold on. Eugene, I'm only talking about Greg.
Okay, all right.
Make sausage rolls.
Hold on, guys. Jens,
no. Greg Dyke, ITV.
Yes, I know. Jens, welcome, Jens. How's your arrangement? Yeah.
God, please forgive me for my schoolboy humor.
See why Jens
Just like you look up at me, like.
Yeah.
Jamie, Manila, you all forgiven.
Guys, hold on. Yeah. Jens, how's your arrangement to come back, going back to UK? Everything's set up?
Yeah, I'm flying tomorrow.
That's 4 o'clock. Right.
Colin, just secure the mic and stop touching it all the time. Because the sound's coming when you're handling the microphone. Just put it on a stand. Don't touch it, and just.
I don't think it's that.
It's a mic connection or something like that.
No, I think
it's connection. Are you able to do it without a mic, Colin? Are you able to take the mic out?
Use your headset. Use your headset.
Or just use the normal computer, like that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Same as my pin mic.
You have a normal computer?
What's an abnormal? Adam? What's an abnormal computer?
Mine. A big picture fell on it, and it's literally held together with duct tape.
You got half your head missing. Jamie. Go to your side. Look to your side. Look to your side. There you go.
Oh my
green screen.
Because of the green screen. It can't be. Look, so you can see through me. You can see right through me.
Yeah. The invisible guy.
Because it's a green screen and it's green letters.
Are your headsets also green?
You see, there's a weird little gap between your neck and
this area.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jamie.
Invisible man. Okay, hold on, guys. Let Colin test his mic.
I'm just going off of my Bluetooth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, better that way. So much better. Yep, no more crackling sound. All that, Colin. That's good. That's good. Right, yeah, back right. And Jens, you were watching. You've been listening to what we've been saying, right? Anything you have to add into it?
I'd like to know what he thinks about the trust and how much he knew.
Don't worry. What do you wear one?
Sorry?
Do you wear a trust?
Only at the weekends.
Okay.
When my name is Wendy.
Mabel.
No, that's a starter, not a trust.
Well done, Brian.
I have to say I didn't know an awful lot about them until the show when Rez was talking about it. I've obviously I'm aware that they're there, but I wasn't really aware what they do.
Not a lot.
From the sounds of it, they do a pretty good job in regards to people who lose their memberships or season tickets for a misdemeanor or something, and also organising seats for people who have
disabilities,
disabilities, etc.
Designed as a conduit for protest.
Sorry,
not really designed as a conduit for protest.
No, yeah,
at the moment,
absolutely.
I think there's definitely a possibility there if they're interested. But again, it is. Do we think that Dr. Evil and the lovely Donna Cullen will
$1 million?
Will do if the trust gets involved in the protest, will they start to persecute them because they seem to be that petty?
Well, the point is you actually, that's the perfect point, Jens. That's exactly right. They're not the natural conduit for it. It's like using a hammer to screw in a screw. You know, they're not the right tool for it. At the moment, it's the only tool we have. That doesn't mean we can't have other organizations that could be just as big as well, working alongside. It's knowing what they are or what they can do and not expecting them to be something they're not.
Yeah.
But okay, my question, right? Res, can the club persecute them?
Prosecute them.
Well, they
persecute them.
Well, first of all, a private company can't prosecute anything.
No, not prosecute. Persecute.
Persecute. Be snide and
yeah, they did it in their letter in response. You know, we are also fans who have given 20 years of the thing to the club. Yeah, okay. Is that the same? Is that the same as the people that you tried to dock 20% of their wages off and put them on furlough? You know, the stuff like that. Yeah, they can. The thing is that Levy and Donna Cullen are just not very good at it, right? They always tend to shoot themselves in the foot a little bit when they try and be nasty, right?
Yeah,
you know, that nice. Thing with we're all fans as well. Okay, fine. Well, congratulations, you're a fan. What does that give you? Nothing, right?
Right.
Even the devil believes in God and shudders.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the thing. This is when it comes to the ownership. I know we're going off topic. This has been in my head for a while. In this country, in the UK, we've got a fan-led review being done at the moment, and it's led by an individual called Tracy Crouch, who's an MP. And she wrote to the Secretary of State for Digital Culture, Media and Sport back in July, I think it was, with an interim findings. And there was a line in that really, really spoke to me. And she described football clubs as community assets.
Yes.
Right? And this is a key point. Daniel Levy has taken the club, spent 120 million pounds to buy it, and has now added, let's say hundreds of millions of pounds worth of debt, right? That hundreds of millions of pounds worth of debt is going to be paid for by us.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Not theirs. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. There's nothing inherently wrong with taking debt to grow and for us to pay it off. But what it does mean is that Daniel Levy, far from deigning, far from choosing to talk to supporters, he has to talk to supporters. We're the one paying the thing. He's just the custodian. He is accountable to us, not just because of any moral argument. We're paying the debt. You owe us answers.
Correct.
Right? This is why I get annoyed with people criticizing the trust, because at the very least he's occasionally answering them. We should be asking for more, right? As supporters saying, you owe us. We're paying the debt and your salary. Just because you spent
a big salary.
Well, Rez, while I agree with in the main what you're saying, it's not just that, it's other bits, events and stuff like that that's helping to pay for that.
Okay,
but
fine.
At the
that's
end of the day,
by people, Arthur. That's still funded by other people.
At the end of the day, Rez, we've got no say anywhere.
No, of course we don't.
We should have some kind of fan representation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree. I'm not saying what the reality is. The reality is that he doesn't answer us. And the thing, I'm just saying what should happen and what fans need to understand, that in actual fact he has a moral, ethical, business obligation to us. Just because he's not choosing to honor that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have it. Right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Derek. I appreciate it.
Can I ask
You're talking about a man that probably has no ethics or morals.
No, absolutely, I agree.
He's in the property game, for goodness sake.
Yeah. But and that's the thing. My comment isn't to Levy. Yeah. My comment is to our supporters to say you should know what you are owed. You should know as supporters what you are owed, what you have a right to, and go and ask for it. You might not get it, but you've got a right to ask for it.
Rez, don't you think a lot of them realise that but can't be bothered to do anything about it? That's our problem.
Of course, you've got life. Yeah, life interferes.
How do you rally people?
By
we'll see. We can't
to do it. To be honest,
no. But what Rez, like a lot of what the fans are, right? Fans take football as escapism. From their life.
Absolutely.
That was also said on Bobby's show, I think by Cody, right? If I'm not mistaken, Cody said that in your show yesterday, Bobby. Right? The fans take this as escapism, right? So when your football club become too stressful, right? They will step aside.
What do you have to
escape?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I come here to escape, but I didn't come here to get more stress.
There is something that because of my own personal politics, right? I would argue against that and say, yes, I mean, I can understand it, and I'm not criticizing anyone who does choose to sort of walk away because it's just too much stress, but I would argue quite vociferously against expressing that purely because that gives people the excuse, right? I will inform people of what their rights are. What they choose to do with it is entirely their business. But I am saying to the supporters, you have a right to answers. It's your money that is funding this, not Daniel Levy's. You have, as a supporter, a very, very large and very, very significant right to know what is happening with your money. It's not like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, where if you don't like Coke, you can move to Pepsi. If you don't like Spurs, you've got nowhere to go.
You can't go anywhere.
We're going to join Newcastle now.
We'll start developing Johnny accents.
While they have a right to that, they also have a duty to stand up.
Yes.
And that's what's not happening at the moment.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%, Arthur. Yes. And the other call I would say is know what your rights are and know what your responsibilities are.
Yeah.
And your responsibilities are to do something. Right to email the club. Email the club and say, I have a right to know. You're spending my money on these debts. I have a right to know what your objectives are. Right? Join the THST. Right. Join Brian on the picket line with his protests. Right? Don't sit back and be supine about it.
Yeah.
Easy, can I just ask Colin the question? Colin, are you surprised by how much of an involvement the trust have had, are going to have, and how much did you know about it till they came to the fore earlier this week?
Yeah,
certainly on YouTube.
I've learned an awful lot. I didn't know much. I still wonder. I still have a lot of questions too. Like today, for instance, I haven't been able to like be here this entire time. I've been kind of running around getting stuff going. But I wonder. People talk about how they thought before that they were like lapdogs, maybe of the establishment or Leanick or however you want to put it. But I wonder too how much they had to be careful. I don't want to say, you know what I mean? Like, could the club just cut off this kind of avenue that we have? If the club gets upset with the trust, I mean, do they have the power to just say, never mind, we're not dealing with you guys anymore. No more meetings, no more. So I think they have a very careful like line. They've got to toe this line here, and I don't think that's a particularly easy thing to do. And I don't know how black and white that all is. And I think that's probably where a lot of the trouble comes in, because they clearly don't want to overstep their boundaries and give up what little, direct line to the club that they have. But they want to obviously get things accomplished, get our voices heard, get answers to questions. I can see how it's a very delicate process, and basically I'm still learning, but
Colin,
I think to a degree we all
Colin, what we're talking about is not a process; it's a balancing act.
Yeah,
they're like on a tightrope. Which side do they fall? And that's another major problem.
Yeah,
because
maybe sometimes they don't know. I can see that line. Yeah, that balancing act and that line, I probably gets crossed fairly often. I would say maybe sometimes Ron's we want them to be on, maybe sometimes they're not, and it's definitely not 100% black and white thing, and it's going to take a lot of cooperation, I think.
It was like when they asked the board to resign, when they asked the executive board to resign, that damaged relations, but they felt duty bound to do it because
they've admitted they admitted that as well.
Yeah, but they've been lied to. The executive board categorically told them in a meeting, and I believe it's on record.
Yeah, I heard it a lot.
It is, about the ECL.
Lie. Now, you know what? The weird thing is, you can turn around and say, well, you can sort of understand for commercial sensitivity reasons.
Yeah.
But the fact that they lied and the fact that they did something that was so against the spirit of football, you can understand the board's reaction. You have lied and gone against the spirit of football. You are not fit to run this football club. You should resign. That is a very...
Would you guys have cared? I can't, as someone that's not a local, as someone that doesn't have like childhood ties to this club or ties as long as y'all do, would you have felt left behind if the Super League went ahead and we did that? Jump in.
I would have celebrated. We'd be more likely to
win the league. No,
because I know that a lot of people see it as a way for us to compete and to spend on the same levels as the other clubs in the Super League. And so I just wondered if anyone would have felt like they weren't, Spurs weren't doing their due diligence by joining. I know that most people wouldn't feel like that, but I just wondered if any of you guys felt like.
Can I answer that, Colin? To me, and I'm talking about me, not the rest of the panel, to me personally, that was a moralistic backward step and an insult to all fans. To do that behind our backs without a sniff or a mention of it to us is disgusting. And they should have stepped down as a board.
I think the biggest issue, Colin, wasn't the fact that it was the ESL. We're not stupid. No one's silly enough to not to think that it ain't going to come back, and we are going to be part of the European. It's coming back, and we are going to be part of it. I think
it's already here.
I think the biggest issue was, as fans, and certainly my issue was, the thought of during a pandemic that 8, 9, 6, whatever owners are sitting in a dark room emailing each other and drafting up contracts to say this is the ESL, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to go about it. Then one morning waking up and saying, you fans of 40 years or like half 102 years, You've got no choice in the matter. This is what we're doing. Piss off. There you go. It's done. There's no.
And we're all then called legacy fans.
Exactly, and that was the biggest issue. How dare
and
they?
you guys were disregarded.
How dare
They just
Legacy
said
fans.
we're not really worried about the legacy fans or however they put it. You guys were kind of set to the side, and the international fans, and we're sort of seems like placed ahead of you guys.
It's fans.
Well, in a scenario like that, I would someone who doesn't call on the board to resign would be the person
You'd
worthy of
question that,
criticism in that scenario. What are you people doing? You basically pissed all over millions of fans. Yeah, absolutely, Derek. You know what? Anything, any achievement, any trophy that the ESL, that a Super League closed shop like that.
Oh my God, we would get smacked up and down in Super League. By the way, we would just get spanked.
Have an
I know that's beside the point. We would just
guys.
Colin, Bob encapsulated it with a simple terminology. How dare you?
Hi,
And they
Soham.
did.
Oh, hi,
They
guys.
did dare.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Big up, Soham.
Big up.
Absolutely. How dare they?
How dare they?
But yeah.
But okay, let's come back to this thing, right? Adam, about a week ago, you had a 3-point plan or something, right? That you wanted to talk about. So
Eugene, I'll be back in 1 minute, buddy. All right.
All right, take care. All right. Why don't you just come up with it a bit, and then maybe we can talk about it and all that, whether it can work.
No problem, lad. Hang on. Now, these were just suggestions off the top of my head. I actually have to open my Twitter DMs again because, my God, I wrote so much. Like, I actually felt sorry for Brian because I was just bombarding him with, like, paragraphs and sentences.
Adam, what's your put your Twitter handle up so people can...
Adam Clark, hang on now. Twitter handle, I think it's Adam C7608. Now, actually, I started following you, Rez, so, like, you probably should have got the notification.
I think I've already followed you back, Adam, but I will double check.
Sound out. It was my.
I nearly did a boo-boo.
Okay, well, go to the bathroom.
Adam C. 7608.
Yeah.
Cheers, Jens.
Adam Clark.
Thanks, Jens.
Adam Clark.
Geen probleem, as we say in the Netherlands.
No, because Adam. Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
Okay, right. Right, so my first suggestion here, like, and this, like I said, is at the top of my head, and it's actually something that Dave Irish Hotspur suggested earlier, is a petition. Petition. I've said I'm just gonna have to call out the tweet itself because I was like, I just can't put in my own words in heat at the moment. So a petition, I'd say get a group, not just one individual, to set up a petition. Group in question would have to be one that could make an impact and that could reach. So basically, that could reach out to fans that have their own like set of Tottenham supporters, like so maybe all of the major Tottenham fan channels, like the Irish Hotspur, Tottenham Away, and Tottenham on Tour, and even like this channel here. And I know it doesn't have like 200 subscribers yet, but like hopefully it'll get there and like above.
I think Bob's got COVID. Piss off,
How
Bob.
did I forget Bob? He's right there.
No, Bob's done a lot of help for my channel, right? Once on the show that I jumped on, right? Then after that, I had to do my show after his show, right?
Yeah.
My subscription rate jumped up like 200%.
Actually, I think I was one of those subscribers, and I think
From 1 to 3.
Yeah.
Easy time.
Ruthless.
Okay, Adam, to answer your petition thing, right? It's a very good suggestion. There are a lot of online petition things that go on, right? Where you can set up the petition and all that, right? And you can get votes in and sign the petition and all that. But the question is that, like what Res was saying, would Levy care? You see?
Exactly.
Right.
But
But it's one step.
Pressure.
Yeah, it's one step, and it's about the pressure on it, right? And your second point will be?
The second point, now this is an interesting one. Protests outside key sponsor branches, like, you know, how the club has all these major sponsors, like, and they all have branches, like. So protests outside those like branches, like the shops, basically in either the UK or North America, or like hell, both of them, like. I mean, it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
No, Brian,
The protest, yeah. The protest one is.
Can't forget Canada as well, like.
Yeah, Canada protest. Like you go and protest in front of night shop, hold out Levy out, Enoch out,
exactly.
right? Put out banners and all that. Yes, that's one thing you can do too. Which Brian will be going back to Canada to do it. He's organizing one there.
You
right?
take advantage of the weapons you have.
Yes.
Weapons you have are numbers and your voices and how you think. Because again, you're up against the monolith. You're up against a very big, powerful organization that has many different things. And I was actually talking to Brian Daigle about this and about what he wants to do when he gets back to Canada and stuff. We have to be agile. We have to be committed. We have to know that it will take devotion of time. You can't do it casually, it can't be, I'll go to this protest and then that'll be enough. No.
Yeah.
Not
a hobby.
Just open at the door and I'll be back in a...
Yeah. It has to be a commitment that you do and do it persistently. Right.
The advantage that we have is that we're passionate about what it is we're fighting for, and that is vital.
Yeah.
Vital in any kind of movement. You have to believe. And we believe that we want a better football club. Have that belief front and center, and it might fail. It might fail utterly. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to blow smoke up anyone's ass and say, yes, if you do this, it will bring about change. It might not. But it's a question for yourselves, for each individual to ask, is it worth trying?
Rez, is it not down to constant pressure?
Yep.
Never give up.
Yeah.
Never give up, but at the same time, we have to be realistic about it. If we can't, we have to try and get the numbers, whether it's just 10 people or hopefully 100 people, and one thing I suggested that maybe it could all take place on the same day, just to add to the pressure, but is that physically possible? Or maybe over the course of 3 days.
Here's the thing. So say, for instance, we've got the NFL game on today, right? And people don't want to go out on a Sunday afternoon to protest. Go on Twitter, tweet the NFL with your protest.
Yeah, brilliant.
Thousands of people doing that on the day that they've got their flagship or their, a flagship event in London. Is why are you helping Spurs turn into an entertainment complex or whatever the thing happens to be? Do it that way.
Can I ask you a question about that too? Just as an ignorant person. What I understand that the club is losing its soul, and it's been happening rapidly, and there's not a whole lot left. But what is it exactly about the hosting of events in our stadium whenever we're not using it anyway?
Nothing.
That is
nothing. There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Is what's wrong about it? It would be if they are using the money for their own purposes and not putting it back into the club, which we think they are doing that. We think they are putting it into the club. So thing. B, it's that idea is what you mentioned just now, Colin, the soul of the club. We want Tottenham to be the jewel, to be the main aspect of what is happening. Everything else is subordinate to that.
Yeah.
So when you've got an NFL event, the cockerel remains illuminated on the side of the stadium.
Yeah.
It is the NFL at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, not at a stadium in London, for instance. I'm not saying they are doing that, but that's the sort of thing we don't want. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The badge, right?
Yeah. And guys, right? I think we're reaching big.
Yeah.
And I think we're reaching big time nowadays because we're being spammed by someone. So nobody spams me at all. I had to block Alicia or something like that, right?
Alicia, what was she saying?
What's she saying?
Some sports channel of that.
Yeah, it's one of these
sports channel. Yeah.
It's normally a sports channel.
Sports channel.
Tom knows all about those.
Being spammed for a
House
first
of
time.
Holes.
There's always an idiot somewhere.
Yeah.
Arthur. It's a good sign, Arthur. It's a good sign because if you're not getting attention, right, they won't spam you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are
right.
getting attention, they will spam you. Yes. And of
you
course,
know,
Adam.
you know something's working if people get angry about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys,
But this is not angry. This is
just
just
a complete interjection here. I'm just seeing that you know the 2 positive COVID tests that were said about the team. Apparently they were false positives, and so
all right.
Really good news.
Sonny and Brian Hill done a test and tested negative. They're training now and will fly out to join the team on completion of a second test. So,
all right.
Come, Sonny. God, we need Son today. God, we need Son. I shouldn't be saying this about Newcastle. I shouldn't say we need our best player or Newcastle might be.
Yes.
Newcastle are a bogey team, so we do need.
They are a bit of a bogey.
We need to take the shine out of their
lost
day.
Newcastle in a long time, but still, we have dropped points. I understand.
I don't think it's as bad as people are saying. I don't think. Yeah,
ridiculous.
In like the last 7 years, I don't think we've lost to them at home or at their home in like at least 5 years.
We haven't won there, yeah.
Well,
do you remember?
If we get 1 point, we go 7th. So we need at least 1 point.
Well, and this isn't a good nice to be dropping points either.
Brentford.
Wouldn't it be nice to come away with a 5-0 spanking?
I said 4-1 in my preview.
Okay, no comment.
Okay, guys, that one we will come to the predictions later. But okay, Adam, you have one more point, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Third point. Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Eugene.
Your third point.
If I can find it, third and final. Yeah, and actually we actually already Eddie, gone through this in great detail, like trying to merge together with the supporters trust. Like it's basically what we were discussing earlier. Like,
yeah.
All of the things you say, Adam, are all great ideas.
Are they?
If they're done as part of a coherent campaign, doing them individually. They will flare and die. It's got to be right. Petition now. Once that's starting to die down, next plank of your campaign. It's got to be organized. Again, what I've been trying to speak to Brian about in terms of how, organization exactly. It's all about getting the idea coherent, getting everything aligned, rather than just doing it randomly. Like, here's an example. Yeah. The protest guys that are there today, I love that they're doing it, and I would never criticize them for doing it. But unfortunately, they need to think about what they're doing a bit better. So they've got the big banner that says Enoch out, and underneath it says profit before glory, right? That's what they're accusing Enoch of, validly, in my view. But when you put that on a banner, what you're saying is that you want profit before glory. What you should be saying is that you want glory before profit.
Yeah.
That's your banner. That's not Levy's banner. Yeah? It's got to be
the wording.
You got to think
the wording.
Exactly. Not what you think, but how it's going to be perceived by somebody. Right? So wonderful. The energy that they're putting into it and the commitment that they're putting into it is top notch. They're there all the time. But they just need to get it slightly better right. Fine tune it. Yeah. Thoughtful, with ideas behind it. And it needs to be backed up with literature. Give someone who comes to the game who wasn't going to be at the protest, just wants to come to the game. They're not going to join your protest just because they've turned up. Give them a leaflet with all of the things that you've got worried about they can take home. And then they'll read it and say, you know what? They're right. Maybe I'll go to the next protest.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Half of them, the majority of them will be thrown away. Okay? Yeah. It is a lot of things. But if you can convert one or two, that's how you build momentum. Right? Don't do a Facebook group alone. Get yourself a dedicated website that says, this is what we want. Get people to subscribe and use it to raise funds. There's nothing wrong with that for your campaign activities. Ask people for money. When people pay, they're more committed to your cause.
Yeah. No, Rez, nowadays all this petition, right, is part fundraising too. So you can start from there, you can raising some funds. Okay, Soham, you just joined us, right? You've been quiet for a while. If you've been listening to what we've been talking about, right? Let's have from your thoughts.
I'm sorry, I didn't get you.
No, I'm saying if you have been listening to our conversation, any thoughts that you want to add on? I mean, since
nothing really. So far, what you're saying is, I think it's not exactly covering new ground. We have been over this, but then again, it's something that requires a greater physical participation than online participation, in my opinion. And to be honest, likes of me, Urban Slab, we can support all we want on social media until and unless there's physical bodies in and around the stadium who carry out the protests. It won't really make a mark. So yeah, I agree. I agree with what Rez is saying. Like you have to hand out pamphlets. You have to give those leaflets. Like if you hand out 500 pamphlets, you'll probably get like 5 people maximum who will join your cause.
Yes.
But then if you keep doing this, less than 5, exactly, less than 5. But if you keep doing this repeatedly, if you stay committed to this, I think that's the only way we are going to have any substantial physical presence in this protest going forward.
So I think anyway, Brian Daigle said that he was going to try and protest like every home game or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
But use social media as well. Use social media.
Yeah.
Every time there's a thing, every time there's a game, or every time there's an event, start tweeting at the organizers. Right? Start tweeting at them. And then they'll start saying, do you know what? I've got this event. Where can I set it? Oh, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium's available. But every time I have an event there, I get hundreds of tweets from Spurs supporters. Let me go somewhere else. Yeah? Let me hire Wembley. Let me hire the Emirates. They don't tweet at me every time there's a thing. They don't tweet at me every time I hold an event there. Right? And then Levy will say, fuck. This multifunctional stadium that I've built is not being used multifunctionally. Maybe I should listen to the people that are causing me the trouble.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good thing. So I guess we've got a lot of that off our chest, right? And of course, we are coming to a game very soon, around another 1 hour's time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
1 hour and 10 minutes time. Any news of the lineup? Anybody?
I'm just checking now, mate. Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Maybe about 5-10 minutes. We should.
Come on, Sonny.
Yeah, it'll be out in 10 minutes, I think.
Son and Kane up front.
Gentlemen, don't forget the slogan. Stop the tills from ringing.
Yes.
That's another part. Yeah. Stop the tills from ringing.
I don't spend in the stadium at all. I never spend in the stadium. I did recently when I met up with a couple of mates and I bought some drinks. That's the first time I've spent in the stadium since it opened. I went to the Crystal Palace match. That was the last time I spent in the stadium.
Right.
Did you get the questionnaire that came through about where you eat, what you buy?
Yeah. How many hundred questions was it?
I said I'd buy all my stuff outside.
and you know what? The quality's better. I had a sausage roll. I had a sausage roll in the stadium again at the Crystal Palace match, and this thing was. It's like, what are you serving me here for £4, whatever it was?
Yeah,
you're like, am I in prison?
Whereas, I can for £4. I go to Tennessee Express around the corner. I get myself some chips and some chicken nuggets, and I love it. It fuels me for the match.
Where are you, Rez?
Where do I live?
Where are you?
Yeah, postcode.
Sorry,
I live in Archway.
Your location.
I live in Archway, Arthur.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so deep in Arsenal country as well, would you believe?
Oh, God. Rez, I'm sending you a medal. You need it.
Send us some shotguns as well.
Well, to be fair,
I'm just gonna send you a knife-proof shirt thing you can wear underneath.
If in doubt, Rez, just jump on the 34 bus.
And jump.
That's war country.
It's a bit of a leafy sort of suburb, sort of. It's like deep Islington type thing, right? So
would a rifle and bayonet help?
Sorry.
No, it's the butt end of Highgate.
That's right, absolutely.
Yeah. Leafy area, butt ends, right.
Come on.
I mean, listen,
Bob. Now I understand why you had to go to House of Holes the other day.
Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal. That's right. Yeah, I prefer. I'm on Spurs Community, one of the forums, and there's a guy on there who coined the term bumminal, which appeals to the 4-year-old in me.
There's a 4-year-old in you. Sorry.
Well, that was over the line. That was over the line. No VAR for that.
No VAR.
I have long maintained that they are the squatters, and we're the real North London club.
Absolutely.
Fuck off back to Woolwich.
Who doesn't know the story? Who doesn't know the story?
I don't know the story. I do know the story. Sorry, I know the story. They belong in South London.
This guy, Henry Norris, what he wanted to do was he wanted to form a London club. He wanted to form one club for London, right? So he actually stood for mayor of Fulham as well and became mayor of Fulham at one. Well, not the club, the area. And so when Tottenham basically said, no, we are our own club and we don't want to merge with yours, he basically decided to move north and try and shove us out.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the guy, he was the original sort of, sports washer type.
The biggest insult was when they shared our ground.
Yeah.
And they moved out a few miles up the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disgusting.
To be honest, their fans at the time probably wouldn't have enjoyed it either, because they were around. The reason they're called Arsenal is because they were around the Arsenal Woolwich Arsenal, or the Royal Arsenal as it was then, across the river. Exactly. So it'd be like
it would be sort of like the MK Dons thing with AFC Wimbledon and moving the team and everything.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You could say they're illegal immigrants.
Let's not go there.
No. Arthur, yeah.
Still waiting for team news. Still waiting for team news.
What we say is we say in the Philippines they're informal settlers.
There you go.
I like it.
I just call them mutants, really, because
So I was here in the U.S. the other day, and I had to go get. This is like a really dumb story, but I had to go get a piece of wood for an art project for a class I'm in, and I go there, and I have a Tottenham plate on the front of my car, and the guy sees it, and he's like, "Oh, pretty good game the other day," and I had no idea what he was talking about. Turns out there's gooners all over my town too, and this guy was giving me shit. wasn't going to sell me the piece of wood I needed just because I was so mad. He was really razzing me about the 3-1.
They're like fungus. They get everywhere.
And this guy he seemed pretty sensible. He was an older gentleman. He was kind, and then I found out he supported Arsenal
and so you called mental health services.
I got the piece of lumber I needed, and I got the hell out of there.
Yeah, no. Case in point, middle of the Philippines. My wife and I took a bunch of teens mountain climbing.
All right.
What was the first thing? What was the first thing I saw when I got to the summit? It was some tourist, some tourist in an Arsenal shirt. I'm like, I've just climbed a mountain and you're up here?
Did you take advantage of the opportunity of slightly cleansing the world by throwing him off?
It wouldn't have been a good example to the teams that we had with us.
Upper Holloway.
Maybe you should just ask one of them to do it.
On the money. That's what Archway is. That sort of postal region is. Sometimes it's Upper Holloway. Yeah, that's right.
Upper Holloway.
It's right. Basically, you got the Holloway Road that leads down to their bowl, as in toilet.
Have you guys ever?
I'm on that list.
Have you guys ever been at a stage where you've hated another club more than Arsenal?
Chelsea.
Thank you, guys.
Equalizer. I despise them for that alone. Like.
West Ham.
I have a very different answer here from other people. It's Leicester. I started hating Leicester after that 16.
Leicester.
Well, yeah.
Oh my God. It's like Leicester everywhere. Oh my God, fairy tale triumph. I mean, stop it. Come on, that was a fluke.
Lord even admitted that he won.
Were you in the one of the shows that I did? Right, I explained to you how Leicester won the Premier League.
No, I don't think
we lost it in the back room. In the back room, right? Not. I
don't remember.
You don't remember. Later, I'll tell you how they won it. Right? What are you doing if you guys go around?
No, Man City at the moment. I hate Man City. Then I hate Arsenal.
I'm with you, Bob. Man City.
No, I don't really mind Man City because they just gift us 3 points every time they come to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So I'm like, yeah,
even this season.
You give them Messi, Ronaldo, everyone in the same team, and we can have Eric Dyer and Sanchez in the back, and they'll still not score a goal.
What one Arsenal? I'm just waiting for the teams to come through, so I'm killing time.
Yeah.
What one Arsenal player would you have loved or would love in the Tottenham team? Just one.
Bergkamp.
Dennis Bergkamp. Here's my birthday.
No, ever. For me, it's Henry. I love it.
Pains me to say that, but yeah, Henry.
Is that an Henry or Van Persie?
Bergkamp, definitely.
Bergkamp.
Bergkamp for me as well. Yeah.
I'd say Vieira.
The weird thing is Bergkamp was the first
That
time.
was good.
That's right.
I know. I've heard that story. Yeah.
I'm not
He
sure.
was a big fan of Glenn Hoddle.
I don't think he was a Spurs fan. He loved Glenn Hoddle.
He would have signed for us. Do you know why he would have signed for us? Do you know why he didn't sign for us? Because he's afraid of flying. And Alan Sugar didn't want to pay to bring him over by alternative means. He said it's a flight or nothing. And that's why he didn't sign for us, apparently.
And it's whose fault again?
That's pre-Daniel Levy Day.
Alan Sugar.
Alan Sugar's fault. All right. Those were the
Next
Sugar.
next Sugar.
Couldn't get him a,
I've got the starting lineup, by the way, guys. I've got the starting lineup.
Yeah. We posted up.
Lloris on goal. In goal, on goal. Royale, Emerson, Dyer, Romero, Reguilon, back four. Skip and Højbjerg in midfield. Lucas, Sonny, and Kane.
4-2-3-1.
Wait, we are one player short. We are one player short.
Lloris, Emerson, Dyer, Romero, Reguilon. Skip, Højbjerg, and Dembele. Lucas, and Kane.
And Dombele.
How does everybody feel about that?
Bob, are they playing Joelinton? Are they playing Joelinton?
No, guys. And Dombele is good. You know why? If he performs well, right? Newcastle will buy him.
They can afford those.
So on the bench is Galini, Sanchez, Tanganga, Davis, Winks, Dele, Lo Celso, Bryan, and Bergwijn. Good to see Bergwijn.
That's not a bad one. I mean, honestly, that's more attacking.
I think I'm going to personally arrange for a different protest at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium Club just to get Winks out of there. Goodness.
Arthur, you were saying?
I said, I saw what you did there.
Yeah. No. That must be another Levy master stroke, you know. Put Ndombele on.
Why don't we sell them Winks?
Don't worry. No,
they're going to need to keep their homegrown numbers up.
Winks is going to Manchester United.
Definite?
Nah.
We never can compete.
Did you know that there was a time where he was a commodity, though? There was a time where he was wanted by teams, and we said no. And now, of course, we can't get rid of him. It's like Spurs 101.
The problem with Winks is that if he does go to United, we'll just end up getting Fred. And that is another problem.
Anyone interested in Newcastle starting 11?
Yeah, I am. Is Joelinton playing? Because that guy scores against us.
Basically, Joelinton's playing. As in Callum Wilson and Joe Willock. So,
Wilson is on.
John Joe Shelby?
Guys, you've got to be.
Shelby's not. So we've got Darlow, Manquillo.
Who?
Where's St. Maximin? Where is St. Maximin?
Maximin's playing. Clark, Richie, Longstaff, Willock, Joelinton.
Willock is playing.
And Wilson.
Wilson's playing.
I know that Newcastle.
Hey, how many yards out is Willock going to be when he blasts one in today?
Oh, for God's sake, don't put that image in my head.
Sorry, Arthur.
Just to my quote from a song. This means nothing to me.
Hey, you have a beautiful voice.
I can see that.
Oh, thank you. How much?
Brad does singing and music. Maybe you two can hook up.
I'll see.
Yeah, Brett has got a music channel.
The
new Chaz and Dave. I like that.
We need, at this point, the reason is that Joe Linton does need to get his single goal of the season and where the club that he always scores.
Oh, yes, we've heard
That's
that.
why.
Yeah. Okay. So scoreline predictions, guys.
I'm not even going to try.
I want to stick with my 4-1 Spurs.
I'm calling it.
4-1.
Who's going first? Yeah, Colin says 4-1. Bob, I think he's been saying 4-1 for a long time.
Yeah, 4-1. They're still shit. I don't care. You can fill up stadiums, but only one. You can bring in all the ownership.
Kane's getting the brace today.
The fact is, they're still shit. They're still shit. So 4-1 Spurs.
Yep, Scott M. Big up, Scott M.
God damn it.
With all the hype, I'm going to go with 0-0.
0-0. All right. 0-0.
Yeah, really put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going. I'm going 2-1 Newcastle because Newcastle haven't won a game yet, and Joelinton hasn't scored a goal yet. So both of them are happening tonight.
Dr. Tottenham's in the house.
Do you remember when Newcastle first came up to the Premier League? It was a big hoo-ha and everything. Who they played first at St James's Park on the first day of the season? Do you remember?
It was
us. It was us. And they had all the I think, and Sheringham scored to make it 1-0. We beat them 1-0. So
what year was
put a
that?
spanner in the works again.
Yeah. And what about Jens? What's your scoreline, Jens?
Yeah, 2-1 Newcastle. We never took
Fucking
Jens, come on.
Yeah. Privy?
I'm sticking with the 1-0 if it's all Nuno ball today.
Nuno ball. Okay. All right. And Arthur, have you put in your scoreline yet?
This is a very nervous response. 2-1 to Spurs.
Good man. Good man.
What I'd love to see is for them to not actually score, and for the travelling away fans, our guys singing 300 billion and you still can't score.
Yeah.
I assume there's going to be some great songs sang today.
Who wants Newcastle to go down?
Yeah.
I
mean,
oh my God, can you imagine how bad they're going to
it would be temporary, but it would be hilarious.
It'll be temporary, but hilarious.
And the teams
Yeah.
I want
what
that
about Kim?
so bad.
Kim, what's your scoreline?
Well, if we can't beat them 7-1 in payback for the drubbings in recent times, I don't know. I haven't got a good feeling about it. I think their fans are going to be so loud, and our team are a bit of a bunch of melters. I don't know. I'm flip-flopping between 2-2 and 2-1 to them.
Come on, Kim.
Yeah, well, I'm a realist. What do you want?
Realist,
I'm going for 1-1. Like,
so disappointing.
We should get some money involved. Let's gamble.
Jamie?
I would like to think 2-0, but I would hedge my
With
bets
the
with
RoboCop
1-1.
head.
Yeah,
RoboCop head. Yeah.
Oh, Jamie, bring the headband over your eyes.
You have 20 seconds to comply.
I didn't know RoboCop was Indian.
That wasn't an Indian accent.
Bobby.
That was meant to be a robotic accent. Come on.
RoboCop would have definitely just taken the money. That's all.
Of course, I would love Spurs to win, right? But I see it as a draw, maybe a 1-1 or 2-2 kind of thing. But of course,
You
like
sure
you
you
said,
see it as a draw? You don't see it as a cupboard or maybe a sideboard?
Don't confuse him.
I'm going the goon route.
No, Rez, that's a different show, mate.
You're telling me you're a bloody rotten scoundrel.
But no, honestly, right, on paper we should beat them, but
what about on the but on paper? But what about a football pitch?
That's why on paper we'll beat them, but on the football pitch
we don't play on
know.
paper. Yeah, we don't play on paper. We play on the grass.
On the grass, yeah.
That's the problem. It's the crowd.
Yeah,
if you can silence that crowd, if you can silence them by sort of scoring early, I reckon we can beat them. If it drags on, and you know how noisy they are up there, you know how they are already.
I have one question, right? With all the hoo-ha, that the fans don't like Steve Bruce, right? But he's still around. Do you think the fans will get on his back?
No.
Wait.
It's going to be a non-stop party for the Geordies today. They've got rid of Mike Ashley. They've become the biggest like financial powerhouse in the world. Football-wise. They are going to, even if we win 8-0, they were going to be partying like
they're not going to stay quiet today. Exactly. They're going to celebrate. I said this to Brian the other day. You are not going to shut up the Geordies today. They could lose, like you said.
Eugene,
they could lose 6-7-0. They will be
the
shouting.
Secret's in the name. United.
Yeah. They will. It's a celebration for them. It's a celebration. So
they will be united.
We won't be quiet in the quiet crowd today.
But to tell the truth, right?
If you score again, I mean, overall, yeah, they're still going to be partying.
Yeah.
But I reckon if the thing is that when people are on a high, if you sort of puncture their high a little bit, it can deflate them temporarily, and you can take advantage of that.
They take advantage of that. Yeah.
They will obviously they'll bounce back and they'll be buoyant again because as you say, they know that they might be doing badly now, but the future is very bright for them. But
you know, guys, guys, right? The owners, right? This new board has come in. I think they do have a bit of heart, right? Because they could have sacked Brucey, but they didn't because Brucey is reaching his 1,000. His 1,000.
They got a bit of a heart. They stole it from somebody when they.
Right. I mean, they stole it from somebody or they cut it out from someone, right? But at least they're giving his 1,000 game to him. You get it or not? At least he's been given a chance to do his 1,000 game.
I think the
Eugene, but it's more than that. If they'd sacked him, who was going to take his place?
Ryan Mason.
It was like Spurs attacking Mourinho before the cup.
Yeah, they
have I can ask you a question. How would you feel if Newcastle made a move for Poch and he went there?
I'd hate it.
I would feel a little bit betrayed.
That would be the lowest of all blows.
Yeah, I can't see Poch. I don't want to see Poch managing any other PL club other than us.
Fair enough. Listen, the only reason they haven't sacked Steve Bruce is because they haven't been able to get their they haven't been able to get their target in yet.
Exactly.
Right. Believe me, if they can't get it sorted, he'll play his 1,001st game for them next week. All right.
Okay.
It's because Conte didn't want to come. Rodgers didn't want to come, and now they're scrabbling around because it's mid-season.
From
Fonseca is what I've been hearing.
No.
Sam Allardyce is still available.
Since 2 days.
Yeah, Newcastle is going to become the next Spurs. Another 10 managers will reject them, and then they will end up with Scott Parker.
Yeah.
Brian Mason.
No, it will be someone like. See, Conte. They thought they could get Conte in, but Conte doesn't join mid-season. He doesn't like it. He's like Mourinho. He doesn't like joining mid-season.
Probably or Fonseca.
What will happen? Yeah, what will happen?
Exactly, I'm thinking Fonseca as well.
What about that?
Conte will be available because other clubs might be on the lookout, and so they will go for him in the summer. And they can turn around to him and say, "You want to rebuild the squad? No problem. Here's 500 million. Off you go."
But okay, I got one question, right, guys? Listen, right? Because of all the morality issues surrounding this club now, of their owners, right? Do you think the players and the managers don't want to go there to be linked to this kind of scenario?
I don't think they care.
I think they don't want to go there.
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
In answer to that,
money beats everything.
Maybe you'll find the outlier and like the one or two players who have a lot of morals, a lot of heart. That won't. But you got to understand the players they're going to be targeting are going to be like fringe players for big clubs that aren't getting minutes, that aren't that don't think they're getting like the playing time that they deserve. So I think those factors will play into it. If they were targeting the top players, I could see some of them being like, no, I'm not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But listen, in answer to that question, let me ask you this: how many of those players who take the knee at the beginning of every game actually donate to our racism charity, or actually involve themselves in racism activism? That's how much they care. Okay.
I mean, Eugene, you do remember the previous week when we had the talk with a couple of other Newcastle fans. They also didn't really bother much. The money is all that matters.
They don't bother.
Money.
The midweek show, the money. I understand. Yeah, but I was surprised the two Malaysian Newcastle fans that I found, right? Actually, there's more than them, but willing to come online, and not like all the Spurs Malaysia fans don't join me on the stream, right? Okay. They are very patient. They are saying 5 to 10 years. They're willing to wait.
That's what I said too. Tommy had it the other day, and I said
I was surprised about that. If it was me, right, I would say that by end of the year, right, get rid of Brucey, get in some big name,
maybe
buying
like
there.
But like the league, I don't think they're going to be winning the league for close.
Eugene,
yeah,
there's a question for you and everyone else. Then, with 320 billion, or at the very least 32 billion from Sheikh Mansour, how long do you think it would take them to build a really good side?
5 years.
Not long at
depends
all.
on the management, right?
2 years, I reckon 2 years maximum.
Yeah. There's two ways to go. There's two roads, isn't there, Arthur? I mean, they can either.
Yes.
I mean, there's the road of the Leicester City, where you go in, you recruit young, and you get the right players, and you get it fit into a system, and you basically mirror the manager's vision and
spend
long
more
term.
than your turnover.
Or you go down the Man City and the Chelsea route, and you go out and get every good player to start winning.
Yeah.
Pretty much straight away. So the Leicester way is going to take longer, whereas the Man City and Chelsea route, you're going to get.
But we've also tried to purchase. What happens whenever you try to purchase too many players in one window, though? I mean, you can't get the players to gel. You can't get the players to fit together. You know what I mean? Like I think it's going to be a messy year. I don't doubt they're going to be a force. I don't doubt that it's going to happen soon. But I think that it's not going to be as clean. It's not going to be as like streamlined and quick of a process. I don't think.
The transition is definitely going to.
I have a question actually. Weren't they linked with Ralph Ragnick for the sporting director job? If they can get someone like of Ragnick's quality to direct their footballing decisions, I think that process will be much faster then.
No,
I think within 2 years they will be up there challenging.
Yeah, one at a time, guys.
Money
will
be challenging for the top four.
They've got a longer way. I mean, if they came into Spurs, I'd be very disappointed if we weren't challenging for a consistent top four finish for the following season and the season after. Because the gap, although it sounds massive, it feels massive, isn't that great. Whereas Newcastle, they've got to come from a fucking relegation fight.
Yeah, but
even still, I'd be very, very disappointed if they weren't challenging top four. Not next season or the season after, certainly the season after. In 2 seasons, like Arthur said, I'd be very, very disappointed. 4 transfer windows. If they're not challenging for top four in 2023, I'd be disappointed, and I don't see why. That's a Chelsea Man City route, isn't it?
Bob, there is a gap, and you're talking correctly in that there is a gap, but the gap is about finances. The reason that they won't be able to do it quite as quickly as Chelsea or Man City is because they're starting financially from a lower point. They need to build the finances up over time.
Yeah, they're in debt currently, right?
To then work through the FFP minefield because they don't want to breach FFP willy-nilly like Man City. They want to try and self-invent it.
But Rez, the financial part is so easy to solve. Number one, your jersey
sponsorship,
Aramco, £200 million.
No,
Stadium,
I mean, absolutely, but that still takes time. No, but the FFP thing is that you can't outspend your turnover over a period of time. So you can have one big sponsorship deal, but then you can't necessarily spend the next year all of that and outstrip your turnover. You've got to build your turnover up. Again, it will be falsely. It will still be false, like Man City do. Like Man City do, it will be false. It will be probably messing around because there just isn't enough people in Newcastle to fund it. But they've still got to do it over a period of time so that they're not in blatant breach of FFP. So they can say we're in FFP. We've done it over 3 years. So it will take a little longer, and then probably after 3-4 years, they'll then go out and splurge on loads and loads of really expensive players and then buy the title.
And Brian, you must be in the studio now, if I'm not mistaken, at We Are Tottenham TV, right? Right.
Hey, so good luck. Hope everything goes great, Brian.
Enjoy.
Watch along with them. Right. Big up, Brian. All right.
Tell Ben and Sim that we said hello.
Yeah. Send our regards to Ben and Sim, Brian.
By the way, please everyone comment on his lovely beard and haircut and a hair trim.
Yes, I know. I had the story.
Absolutely dashing. He looks absolutely
Oh,
dashing.
did you take him out for a trim?
No, I did it myself.
Oh man, nice. I could use one too.
No, I was watching one stream. Remember, I was watching one stream. He was keeping scratching. I was saying, okay.
Yeah, it's very. He was, very conscious of it. It's very conscious.
He must have caught something at House of Holes.
Has he not learned to do it
himself?
Okay, guys, we're coming up to 3 hours already. Right, so we'll be on.
Are you doing one of those mad 72-hour one show?
Oh no, not today. Not today. Tomorrow I've got an early morning appointment. I thought of doing it, but
well, hey, at 9 o'clock, if anyone wants to come at 9 o'clock, Tommy's doing his stateside thing, and there's going to be a little quiz, and so that there's some fun if you don't have your whole fill of Spurs action for today. Tommy talks ball. 9 p.m.
Tommy's a legend.
Yeah.
And congratulations, Eugene. Congratulations, matey, for finally getting that fucking tash. Bloody hell, how long has that taken you, man? Well done.
I got a tash and I got a bit of it. I might have to get rid of it on Wednesday. I have a job interview on Wednesday.
Keep it, Eugene. Keep it, Eugene. Just in time for Movember.
Eugene,
Eugene,
you're learning.
Yes, learning. Yeah. Have to
it
join
makes
the
you look
gang,
older,
right?
more mature. So keep it.
Arthur turned grey in 1924, so he's had plenty of experience.
102 years.
All right, guys. Let's do the closing bit, right? Let's go to Adam. Adam, how can we find you? I know you don't
find me on Twitter, or as we mentioned earlier, all the Tottenham Hotspur fan channels. I think I'm actually on all of them now. If
you are.
If there's a Tottenham channel on YouTube, I will find you and I will subscribe.
He has a ridiculous set of skills.
You won't be able to escape him, right? You won't be able to escape Adam, right?
That
Adam's
sounds like a threat.
That's the promise.
Don't worry, that threat's already taken.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, his real surname is not Clark, it's Neeson.
He's had his first show. I will find
you. Taken.
I
find you. Yeah. And Prithvi, how's your Bungalow Spurs thing going on? Get Soham to join you.
Yeah, I'd like to actually. That would be actually great. So the thing is, I did talk to a couple of people, but no reciprocation from there. So yeah, I'd love Shom, if you're interested. I'd definitely love to ask you to join.
Yeah. What's your channel? What's your channel?
Yeah, where's the channel?
Also subscribe to Bungalow Spurs.
Bungalow Spurs. You let me know. I'll come on. Let me know. I'll come on.
Pleasure.
Yeah, we all come on. Don't worry. We all support you. That's why I keep telling Prithvi. Even you do it alone. We'll support you, no problem. You don't have to have anybody else.
No, I'll come on.
Come and support.
I promise you, I'll come on. We'll sort out time.
I would love to be there, man.
Yeah, I'll come on.
You got my Twitter handle.
Yeah. And Arthur and Kim.
We haven't got a channel, but we bounce around in the comments section. We're a bit like a pair of cheerleaders. We're like you're standing on the sidelines, going, "Yeah, this channel is wicked."
Well, in which case, Arthur's got an image problem.
That's right.
Do you like my parrot on my shoulder?
Where are your pom poms, Arthur?
Sorry.
Where are your pom poms, Arthur?
Don't be disgusting.
Over his shoulder.
I walked into that one.
I think you walked into purpose
and bounced off.
Yeah. And Bobby, you had a good show last night, right? When you'll be doing another one?
Yeah. So last night's show was the whole moral high ground over Newcastle. We had a Man United fan on, Villa fan on, a couple of Spurs fans on. So it was very, very interesting. And I'll be doing the day after, the day before show tomorrow afternoon or later. And obviously, Eugene, you sometimes come on that. And soon to be appearing on Prithvi's channel. Just got to sort it out. So yeah, I'll be going on that channel and promoting it, etc. So yeah, we'll get it sorted, mate. You let me know the time and the date, and we'll sort it.
We'll support you.
Surely, more. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
And Jens, what time is your flight tomorrow? PM.
Yes. Yeah.
He's got to get through passport control first. Fucking
exactly.
Right. And Jens, usually where we can find you, I think you find Jens and Rest together, right? Most of all, right?
Yeah.
Usually, in the pub, yeah.
Causing havoc.
We're on Shelfside Spurs, Johnny Einstein's channel. We usually do Thursday. Or if there's a European game, Fridays around about 7 o'clock GMT.
Yep.
And my Twitter handle is Ricky Velia, at Ricky Velia THFC. And I talk a lot of shit. Yeah.
Yep. But you've been a bit quiet today. But thanks for being on. Yep, I understand. You got a lot of things on your mind at the moment.
Good seeing you.
I don't do quiz. No, I don't do quiz.
Hey,
and of course, and are you guys, Rez and Jens, are you going to meet up?
I hope so.
No, I'm going. My parents live down in Devon now. So
you're going straight down to Devon.
That's a no. That's a Red's like, I hope so.
I wouldn't have a drink with him if you paid me. No.
If he paid the bartender, then maybe.
All together.
No.
Eugene, can I ask a question? Just one before you go round. Can everyone name 10 Spurs players with the letter Z in it?
Z.
Ziegler.
Bobby Zamora.
Zakora. How can I forget Zakora?
Didier Zerbatov.
Mabazela.
Zari Mabbott.
Zari Mabbott, yeah.
Mapizela.
Bob, are you sure there's been 10?
No. Two. We got one with two.
Harry Zane.
Ozzy Ardiles.
No, we didn't count that.
Harry Zane.
Mapizela.
Jurgens Linsman.
King said Mapizela.
What about Travezani?
Yeah, Travezani.
Ramazani.
Mickey Hazard
was the only one I had.
Jason There are 10 players. Me and Brian actually were in the car yesterday going down south.
Of course, Brian knows.
That's for the comments. That's for the comments.
10 players
That's
with
for the
Zach.
comments.
Oh, yeah. Comments, guy. 10 players.
Yeah.
With Zach in their name.
What about 10 players that played for both Spurs and Newcastle? I bet that would be easy.
There are 10 Spurs players.
Steve Carr.
Bobby. Jason Giselle.
Gary Brady.
Gilzine.
Gary Brady.
Gilly.
David Ginola.
There are 10 players. So later on afterwards, if you're watching this later, just put it in the comments or tweet or whatever. Yeah. But there are 10 players. Me and Brian Daigle.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah,
and most probably,
please like and subscribe, everyone. It's so easy. And it's such good content.
And Rez, how can we find you? And most probably, this is going to be one of the quiz questions coming up, right? On Thursday.
So tune into Shelfside Spurs Thursday or Friday, depending on if you've got a European game. You'll find Jens on there with me and Johnny and Nick and Kev and Gaza. Great guys. You can find me at bat_spur on Twitter as well. And that's how you contact me.
I'll be on that, by the way. I'm on Tottenham Tour later at 10 o'clock.
Later on,
I'll probably be in the comments.
Yeah, you probably will.
He's always in the comments. I'll find you.
A stream's not a stream unless I get a piss off from Adam and Mark Swift. Mark Swift. So
that's one. Yeah, Mark Swift. Mark Swift is also in the chat. And Colin, how can we find you?
I'm on Twitter at Talking Ball 1. And I also have a YouTube channel called Talking Ball, and haven't done it for a while, but I have a show called Chatting Shit. It's usually Mondays, and we just kind of chat shit, talk, and like some friends getting together.
Is it an agricultural program?
It should be, given where I live and what happens around me. But no.
The fertilizer of the week.
Corn everywhere. What's the best one? Corn. No. And we also
who's your premium?
I also do a show called
We review the latest
like
tractors.
Funny game show, and that usually takes place Fridays, but it's kind of moved to Sundays, and that's actually happening within Tommy's show tonight. So yeah, like I said.
Oh wow!
You guys wanna,
Okay.
Yeah.
What time's that? What time's that?
So but what?
9. So it's going to cut right into your thing.
But who is gonna come up?
It's gonna be Buck Funkley.
Funkley, okay.
Yeah, he's.
I've got to say, everyone,
No,
that
Bob waiting
game
for
show
Bob to
is
say
a
that.
jewel in our crown.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to be
That-
watching people West Ham.
Yeah, guys, go
Far
ahead.
too nice. Far too kind. Thank you so much.
And but Buck Funkley. All right, okay.
You got it. You got it.
Yes, Bobby, we know that.
But yeah, come by. Definitely like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe, guys. And Soham is a pioneer with me on this channel with Jamie too. Right, found him a long time ago. He hops on and
Found him.
Yeah, found him through
Where was
found
he?
him
Was he
through Twitter,
lost?
through India Spurs, and found him through Twitter. And somehow that link came from Josh, from Spurs debate.
Oh yeah.
And of course, how do we find you nowadays? You're not on Twitter, right? I know you.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Very good for yourself.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Soham Spur. So that's SOHAMSPUR, Soham Spur. And you can find me in the WhatsApp groups of, what groups am I in? The Spursation TV movement, Bangalore Spurs and Kolkata Spurs. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And guys, please, those who have a YouTube channels like Chef Spurs, Bob Spur TV, Talk and Ball, right? And of course, Spursation TV, right? Please smash a like, subscribe, right? And guys, if you want to listen to the Leicester story, hang on for a while. I'll put you in the back room. I'll do the closing with Jamie, and we say all the thanks to all the comments in the chats, right? Just hold on. Let me take you out. Oh, big up to
Oh man!
Don't forget Ryan Nichols' famous words.
Levy, come on, everybody. Levy.
Levy.
Oh,
fuck off,
Bobby. Bob,
yes, mate.
you're a bad effluent.
Piss off, Levy.
At least it's not bad flatulence. Okay, guys, I'll put you in the back room for a while. If you want to listen to the Leicester story, I'll explain.
We love a back room.
Yeah.
You love a
Okay. Okay, guys.
Bye.
I would think you. Let me see. It's too many of you guys.
One step at a time, Eugene.
Yeah, I know. Full panel always. That's why I love you guys so much. Thanks for the support. I'll
Thanks for
have a
having us
chat
on.
with you. All right. And let me do Jamie. Full
Okay.
panel again today. Actually, we had more. I
Yep.
think a lot of them just stayed back because we're already full. Right. Just say thanks to all those in the comments. Like and subscribe. The game is coming
Derek
very
Hutchinson,
soon. Derek
Mr.
Hutchinson,
Daigle.
Brian Gill, Adam is of course with us. Right.
Scott M.
Scott M.
This is
Scotty,
Scott.
thanks. Yeah. Brian Diggle, Scotty,
Mike
Mark Swift,
Swift.
big up. Yeah. Right. Mark
Stop,
Swift is
stop,
there.
Ricky Villa.
Ricky Villa was with us.
Almighty Blues.
Yeah, Ankit,
Chris
thanks.
Chris
for as well.
Akenbar, Irish
Chris
Hotspur.
Akenbar. Yeah, David.
Then we have
Next
Colin.
week, David, you have time. You might join me along with a watch along. But I think let's see how it goes. Right. Of course, Talk and Ball is Colin. Right. Chris
John
Agenbar.
Fitzpatrick.
Yep, John Fitzpatrick too. Have we got everybody?
I'm nearly at the top. Nearly at the top.
Nearly at the top.
Yes.
Got,
And Tottenham Tantrum.
Tottenham Tantrum, McDermott. Right. And who joined us? Oh, Urban Sled just came back on. S. Featley is, of course, Steven. Thanks for support. He's an Arsenal fan, but he's a good guy. Right. Anybody else? Do we miss anybody? Thanks to everybody. Vibuff.
Yeah.
Right. Vibuff,
Vibuff.
studying on your exams. Right. He's got exams. That's why he can't join us. He's got
The unofficial Manila, Philippines, Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Club Facebook group is where you can find me apart from here on Spursation TV, which is your key resource for Spurs in Asia, and beyond.
Yes. All right, guys. Thanks for support and take care. Levy out. Anything else?
No, I think that's